This story starts with pure unadulterated chaos. Meet our guy. Cao Yuan, an ordinary student, now hunted inside a brutal game world. His grand entrance into this new life, he spawned as a piece of grass. Now he is being chased by cultivators who want him as Immortal Soul Grass. His brilliant plan is to hide in a bush, truly a master tactician. Crouching in the leaves, he's already desperate to find a way home. But wait, how is he supposed to survive looking like this? From his hiding spot, he sees someone bathing in the water. Suddenly, a pair of Wolf ears perk up. It is just a Wolf girl splashing. She is having a great time, while our boy is having a meltdown. The game balance is totally busted. Suddenly, she whips around. She senses his presence instantly, and she looks genuinely shocked. Someone actually breached her protective barrier. Her attention shifts to the glowing grass, and Cao Yuan starts to panic. Taking a step forward, her foot lands on something slick. A moment of pure shock as she loses her footing. Down she goes, falling directly onto our poor little root vegetable. And they have a very, very close encounter. The moment they touch, a blinding green light explodes. It looks like she is absorbing all that power from him. The light fades and Cao Yuan is suddenly human again, right in her arms. She is completely flustered, realizing she just accidentally kissed a total stranger. And our boy's first thought, hey, she is kind of cute. Priorities are in perfect order. This moment is ruined when she shoves him off, screaming pervert. As he begs her to be quiet, her brilliant counterargument is to bite his hand. His screams of pain now echo through the entire forest. A great way to stay hidden, right? Naturally, the cultivators hear the commotion and head straight for the source. Cao Yuan realizes his cover is completely blown, all thanks to this girl. With no other options, he just bolts. But a terrifying shadow of the Wolf girl looms over him. She's absolutely not letting her pervert get away that easily. So now he is being chased by literally everyone. A high score run. This Wolf girl is still hot on his heels, demanding he stop running. He is desperately trying to plead his case, insisting he is not a creep. In his panic, he runs straight towards the edge of a massive cliff. His foot slips right at the precipice. In a classic moment, he is left dangling over the edge. He barely avoids a long drop, then starts wondering about fall damage. Is that even a thing in this game? Suddenly, she is right behind him, whispering a friendly suggestion. She wants him to test that theory himself. Cao Yuan absolutely loses his mind, while she just glares. She is clearly enjoying his terror cornered. Cao Yuan has nowhere left to go. Cao Yuan hits the dirt, groveling for his life with that ultimate technique. She isn't buying it for a second, still fuming over that stolen kiss. Then it hits her the real reason she's livid. That was her first kiss. Our boy, a master of social grace, asks her to repeat that and the spat. Gets cut short by the cultivators chasing him. In a shocking moment of unity, they both tell the guy to get lost. This poor cultivator is stunned, finally realizing he's talking to Lord Silverwolf. He tries to play it cool, name-dropping his sect and their treasure. Hunt, Lord Silverwolf strikes a power pose, basically demanding to know why they aren't paying her tribute. One of his goons is starstruck by her domineering aura. She lays down the law. Finders keepers, losers weepers. It's her treasure now. The lead cultivator realizes this is about to be a massive, world-class headache. His gaze shifts toward Cao Yuan, who still reeks of Immortal Soul Grass. Playing it smart, he decides to back off and let them finish their little drama. With the audience gone, she's back to threatening Cao Yuan, promising to bite him to death. Cao Yuan gives a jaunty salute and tries to make a strategic exit. He immediately realizes that was a mistake. She isn't finished with him yet. Deciding there's no other way, he prepares to unleash his secret weapon, which is apparently trying to be a smooth talker. It's not working. She absolutely explodes, declaring he's going to be emergency food rations for her clan. She orders her goons to drag Cao Yuan back to their tribe. Her guards grab him and Cao Yuan is already trying to talk his way out of it. These guards clearly aren't paid enough to listen to his life story. Walking through a super creepy forest, he's convinced he's about to be eaten. Our boy is having a full-blown crisis, worried he won't even make it past. Episode 3, meanwhile, somewhere else, a bowl shatters. Those cultivators are fuming, realizing they chased their prize right into Silverwolf territory. His subordinate tries to calm him down, suggesting they might still have a chance, but the leader is worried about a much bigger problem, a powered-up Silverwolf clan. A look of grim determination crosses his face. They have to resist, and just like that, Cao Yuan turns back into a sentient root vegetable again. Now in his stealth form, he spots her bathing and plans a great escape. She is just enjoying her bath, completely oblivious to the peeping plant on the roof. Still, she's wondering about the guy who broke her barrier, even critiquing his grassy scent. The general consensus seems to be let's just eat him, which isn't great for morale. But then she stops, a sudden thought hitting her. It all clicks. He wasn't a human at first. He was the stargrass up on the roof. Cao Yuan realizes she's talking about him and leans into eavesdrop. He's too far to hear, but he remembers the key detail. That kiss turned him human. Now he's wondering if a second one is the answer. She glances up, catches him red-handed, and instantly whips around. She can sense the little peeping plant spying on her. With a furious shout, she demands that rooftop creeper show his face. Panicked, our boy takes a massive leap of faith, screaming all the way down. She is completely stunned, watching a giant screaming turnip hurtling toward her. Then comes the realization the guy absolutely cannot swim. They crash into the water, a beautiful symphony of flailing and pure panic. Just like that, he's human again, thinking this is absolute heaven. Her face says it all. She knows it's him, that pervy grass from before. She turns on him, accusing him of spying. Cao Yuan has a breakthrough. Touching her is the key to everything. She's already got a migraine from his terrible, nonsensical excuses. Just then, a guard shows up, drawn in by all the commotion. Playing it cool, she tells the guard everything is fine, nothing to see here. But the guard is clearly suspicious, insisting he heard a loud noise. Her brilliant solution, she just shoves Cao Yuan's head underwater. Problem solved, except our boy is literally drowning down there. He's begging for his life beneath the surface. Losing her patience, she glares at the guard for not taking the hint. The guard finally gets the message and makes a hasty exit. Once she's gone, Lord Silverwolf tells him it's safe to come up. But he just floats to the surface, completely unresponsive. Oops, she leans in close, demanding he stop faking it. Her first aid technique, just slapping him repeatedly, demanding he wake up, it sends Cao Yuan's brain into a full-on cartoon spiral. She immediately realizes she might have overdone the revival part a little. Deciding she cannot let her new toy die just yet, she acts. She prepares for mouth-to-mouth, or maybe some bizarre underwear bellows. Sure, why not? Miraculously, Cao Yuan coughs back to life. He spits out water, gasping for air. He wakes up completely bewildered while she just stares, probably regretting everything. Our boy is just thrilled to be alive, celebrating like he won the lottery. He completely misses her murderous vibe. Just like that, she's choking him out again, offering to finish the job. Their quality time is interrupted by another guard, who addresses her as Prince. She looks up, a terrible idea forming. Clearly, she's plotting something, dragging Cao Yuan along with her. She wonders if the tribe leader can figure out what this weirdo's deal is. Meanwhile, inside, a delegate from the Wild Dog tribe demands a marriage talk. Then a guy from the Jackal tribe chimes in, accusing the leader of lying. He claims the leader broke a marriage promise. Not to be left out, the Wild Fox tribe's representative makes his own claim. This tribe leader is sweating bullets. You can tell he realizes he is in some really deep trouble now. Turns out, after a few drinks, he promised his daughter to all three suitors. A total diplomatic masterclass. Just then, Lord Silver Wolf walks in. She struts in with Cao Yuan right into this massive three-way standoff. She catches the keywords, arranged marriage, and her face goes blank. Her father tries to play it cool, begging his little Yua to listen. Lord Silver Wolf grabs her dad by the beard, demanding a real explanation. The old man pleads for calm, insisting the tribe's entire reputation is at risk. Yua is having none of it. She's not marrying these ugly losers. She needs an escape plan fast. A brilliant idea hits her like lightning. She spots her perfect scapegoat, Cao Yuan, just vibing by a pillar. Putting on her best damsel act, she announces her heart is already taken. She spins a wild tale about a dragon attack and a heroic rescue. By tribal law, she claims she has to marry her brave savior. The suitors are understandably calling total nonsense on this dragon story. With a grand flourish, she presents Cao Yuan as the hero of the hour. Our boy is having a complete meltdown, having zero clue what is happening. She gives him a death glare, whispering a clear play along or die ultimatum. Her father eyes Cao Yuan suspiciously, asking if this ridiculous story is true. Forced to improvise, Cao Yuan puffs his chest out, bragging about beating the dragon. The fox suitor immediately objects, claiming a mere human couldn't defeat a beast. Seeing his plans explode, the tribe leader jumps in with a better idea. He proposes a marriage competition. The strongest suitor wins her hand. Cao Yuan realizes he's just been signed up for a fight to the death. The other suitors are totally on board with this savage new plan. Smugly, the leader asks if anyone objects to his genius resolution. Just then, a ridiculously sparkly new guy bursts in, objecting to everything. This guy's aura is so bright it blinds Cao Yuan instantly. Middle Safebridge watch closely. This new arrival just changed the whole game. Cao Yuan gets a system alert about a rival protagonist appearing. The new guy, a blonde wolfman, faces the suitors with maximum sparkle. Cao Yuan is left wondering who this main character even is. The fox suitor starts trash-talking, calling him Flame Wolf garbage. Flame Wolf summons a fireball, claiming he's had a major glow-up recently. Then he unleashes a full-energy attack that rockets straight at the fox. The fox tries to block, but gets absolutely wrecked by the blast. Even the big wolf suitor is stunned, realizing this guy is a Tier 5 monster. Flame Wolf just calmly addresses the tribe leader as uncle. The leader freezes. This is going to get messy. They keep calling him Flame Wolf garbage, but this Flame Wolf has other plans. He summons a massive fireball, bragging he has had a major glow-up since 3 years ago. Then he unleashes a full-on energy attack that rockets forward with insane speed. It flies straight at that loud-mouthed fox, who tries to block, but gets absolutely wrecked by the blast. Even the big wolf suitor is stunned. He realizes this guy is now a 5th-tier monster Flame Wolf. Then he calmly addresses the tribe leader as uncle. That leader wants to know exactly why he is crashing the party and attacking guests. Turns out the leader broke off his marriage arrangement 3 years prior. And a system alert gives Cao Yuan the whole tragic backstory. This guy is a classic revenge plot hero. Our boy is just trying to figure out what this seizing luck quest is all about, so he taps the screen to accept the mission chain. This quest: stop the marriage, and failure means death, because of course it does. Meanwhile, Flame Wolf monologues about how his girl, Yan Yao, still loves him. He claims his love for her is what fueled his power. A true romantic, with a look of intense determination, he reveals his one true purpose, which is, you guessed it, to take Yan Yao away with him. And she just shuts him down cold, telling him they are not even friends. Flame Wolf tries to convince her this is all a misunderstanding, but Cao Yuan steps in, telling the guy to take a hint. This new protagonist is furious, prepping his greedy wolf claws. As he lunges, our boy gets a system prompt for a free skill. He immediately screams use and unleashes a flash of light. His hands slam right into the rival's chest, unleashing the dragon ... claw technique with a dramatic push. Even Flame Wolf is shocked, admitting the move was too fast to see, and Cao Yuan gets a little too smug a little too quickly, which earns him a spectacular slap across the face. Turns out the fancy move had absolutely ... zero force behind it, sending him sliding across the floor like a bowling pin. Our boy can only curse how ruthless this guy is. Just then, the tribe leader tells Flame Wolf to prove his strength in the tournament. He agrees instantly, all for the love of his Yao Yao. But from the floor, Cao Yuan dramatically objects. He claims their fight is not even finished yet. Flame Wolf just cannot believe this kid is still standing. So Cao Yuan boasts ... about the power of a top gamer, a truly terrifying threat, and the rival just prepares to smack him down all over again. Cao Yuan somehow dodges the attack with a slick move, and Lord Silverwolf is genuinely shocked. He actually pulled it off, so Flame Wolf lunges. Again, not about to let that slide. She is just trying to process if this guy is a hidden master or just insanely lucky. Turns out the system just copied the greedy Wolf clause after he survived the hit. A brand new skill just got downloaded straight into his brain. Next up, he has to take down Flame Wolf to finish some ridiculous quest. Cao Yuan drops into a fighting stance, completely focused. He squares off with his rival. Then he unleashes the exact same claw attack right back at him. It leaves Flame Wolf absolutely speechless. Even the other suitors simply cannot believe their eyes. Our guy strikes a pose, calling his opponent weak and pathetic. From the floor, Flame Wolf demands to know how he. Cao Yuan steals his signature move, going full protagonist mode. He claims it is a secret technique just for main characters. But then the system warns him the mission is only half finished. He is panicking, totally clueless about the other half. And in a puff of smoke, he turns back into that little grass thing. Our boy is having a full-blown crisis, screaming about his terrible timing. The system drops a 30-second countdown: finish the mission or die. Everyone stares at the tiny plant as a death timer ticks down. Lord Silverwolf looks annoyed, realizing this chaotic situation isn't over yet. From the floor, the little plant frantically begs her for a plan. She tries to ignore him, but the angry sprout is absolutely not having it. With the clock ticking, our boy is officially out of time and ideas. Meanwhile, the other two suitors are squaring up to throw down. Deciding he has no choice, the plant prepares to risk it all. He figures touching her is the key to transforming back. Launching himself at her with seconds to spare, here is the turning point. The little guy rockets across the room like a sentient green bullet. To her surprise, he makes a perfect landing right on her chest. It is complete with some very awkward sound effects. She is understandably flustered by the sentient plant now attached to her. A flash of green light erupts as the transformation finally kicks in. He is back, immediately going for a cheesy protagonist wall pin. He drops some truly awful pickup lines, acting like he owns the room. Then he doubles down, declaring she is his woman now. That is a claim she definitely does not seem to endorse. Turns out, that was the bluff required for the mission. The system confirms he survived, but the fox suitor is not having it. Cao Yuan cannot believe this guy is interrupting his big hero moment. The fox suitor sarcastically lists off Cao Yuan's fake accomplishments. He is clearly not buying a single word of it. He demands actual qualifications, calling our boy a tricky grass fairy. Before the fox can finish, Lord Silverwolf shuts him up personally. With a terrifying grin, she asks if he is calling her a liar. Suddenly, he is not so brave anymore. She leans in, asking if he understands the consequences of his words. But then her dad calmly agrees with the fox suitor's point entirely. Undermining her, Lord Silverwolf is left totally blindsided. Demanding to know what he is talking about, she stands stunned. The leader then tells Cao Yuan to prove his story. He has to bring back a dragon's corpse, a simple request, right? Our boy just points at himself, completely floored by this insane demand. With a smug look, the leader says a dragon is what he needs plans to prove his story by bringing back a dragon corpse. A simple request, right? Our guy is just pointing at himself, completely stunned by this insane demand. With a smug look, the leader says a dragon. The Slayer should handle it fine, Cao Yuan thinks, cursing him under his breath. He has finally reached his limit, turning to storm out, declaring one thing. He is not dying for these people, he shouts back, letting them know. Nobody can force him to stay. He is full of righteous indignation. Until the system pops up with a new quest, become the tribe's official son-in-law. The only way to pull that off, slay a giant dragon. And failure. Well, failure results in death, of course. A fresh death timer starts ticking. It's counting down from 3,000 seconds and Cao Yuan is beyond annoyed. So all that defiance just vanishes. He drops to his knees, begging. With crocodile tears, he asks his father-in-law for some urgent help. Where is the dragon? He is on a clock. The leader just strokes his beard, completely misinterpreting this panic as some kind of romantic eagerness. He even pushes his horrified daughter toward him, ignoring her protests. Cao Yuan is a perfect match, he declares, while our boy just sweats. Then, he helpfully points him toward an ice giant dragon in the north. That fox suitor, ever the helpful rival, agrees this is the perfect spot. Desperate, Cao Yuan asks for clear directions to this conveniently placed monster. That fox just waves vaguely north, claiming it is not far at all. So incredibly helpful, right? Cao Yuan gives him a suspicious side-eye. He is already wondering if this entire thing is just a trap. Cao Yuan has one minor problem. He has no idea which way is north. That fox suitor gloats, adding that the trip would take over a year anyway. Meanwhile, the big wolf suitor urges the leader to just start the tournament. But our boy is already wandering off, determined to track down that dragon. Something suddenly catches his attention mid-stumble, and he immediately trips. He crashed to the ground, finding himself holding a giant, mysterious egg. He is just trying to process why an egg fell out of the sky. Back in the hall, Lord Silverwolf calls out her dad's dirty trick. The big wolf suitor uses this moment to plead his case directly to her. He swears he is the only one who can protect her, not some grass fairy. Her dad just watches this whole soap opera unfold, looking completely unimpressed. Until a terrifying pressure fills the room, he recognizes it instantly. That is a dragon's aura. Both he and his daughter look up in horror. The ice giant dragon just showed up right on their doorstep. Talk about express delivery. This leader immediately starts panicking, realizing the truth. His entire tribe is about to be wiped off the map. Lord Silverwolf screams for everyone to run for their lives. The dragon is actually offended they are running before it could even monologue. So it unleashes a massive blast of ice breath, flash freezing the courtyard. The tribe leader can only wonder if this is the end of his people. But just as the tribe is about to be finished off, everything changes. The dragon gets blasted backward by a familiar, heavy claw attack. The tribe leader is completely stunned, wondering who could have possibly intervened. And of course, standing there through the dust, it is Cao Yuan. Is coming. Everyone wonders who intervened. Of course, it is Cao Yuan. Making a return for the ages, the dragon is beyond furious. Totally insulted that a mere human dared to strike it. It retaliates, unleashing a massive ice breath to end this. Our guy doesn't even flinch, vaulting right over the blast. Full of bravado, he fires a golden beam of energy. It slams straight into the dragon's forehead. Then he follows up with a stylish, totally unnecessary mid-air flip. He sticks the landing perfectly, not even breaking a sweat. The dragon actually retreats, vowing revenge as Cao Yuan smugly waves it off. Back inside, he casually strolls up to the frozen fox suitor. He just has to gloat for a second before grabbing Lord Silverwolf's hand. He pulls her straight through the crowd, telling her to follow him. Once they're finally alone, she demands an explanation for his insane behavior. Getting right in his face, she wants to know how he really took down that beast. Our guy just gets all shy, scratching his head like it's some big secret. The truth, the dragon was just a frantic mom searching for its child. That egg he stumbled over was her baby. She was only worried, overjoyed the moment she found it. She completely ignored the death timer counting down in the corner. This whole epic battle was just him finishing a lost egg mission. Holding the cracked shell, Cao Yuan sees it's a little damaged. But then, a soft green light glows from his hands, mending the cracks. This kid is totally floored. Since when can he heal things? Turns out the dragon is just a grateful mom thanking him for the save. She gives him a good sniff, confirming he smells like divine grass. Yep, that's our boy. Declaring that dragons always repay their debts, she offers him one wish. Cao Yuan is absolutely losing it, asking if she's from Dragon Ball. His big wish, helping him fake his way through this quest. Snapping back to the present, Lord Silverwolf demands to know what's so funny. With that proof, the leader officially qualifies him for the competition. All the other suitors immediately know about, forfeiting on the spot. But Flame Wolf isn't backing down, insisting this isn't over. He brings up a childhood marriage promise, trying to pull a card. She immediately shuts that down, calling it nothing but playing house. Getting all dramatic, he grabs her hand, vowing not to lose her again. As Cao Yuan considers just quitting, the system renews his main quest. Win the whole thing, or else. The system helpfully adds that admitting defeat means certain death. Of course it does. Cornered, Cao Yuan challenges Flame Wolf to settle this for good. Her dad is way too excited, starting the tournament immediately. Without wasting a second, Flame Wolf unleashes a massive claw attack. Cao Yuan meets him head-on, ready to throw the exact same move right back. Their attacks collide in a storm of pure power. The pair collide in a blinding explosion, but the system helpfully informs Cao Yuan he is now immune to that move, Flame. Wolf is absolutely seething, calling him a brat under his breath. He just cannot believe our boy is completely unharmed. So he unleashes a full-on barrage, a flurry of claw strikes. Our boy gets tagged a few times as the system analyzes the new pattern. But he's already adapted, smirking as he gains damage reduction. Suddenly, Flame. Wolf gets blasted by a counterattack out of nowhere. Cao Yuan gives a half-hearted apology, saying one of them has to go down. His opponent is looking pretty wrecked and is not happy about it, muttering. Curses. He is clearly reaching his breaking point. So he just decides to power up, bursting into flames and screaming his head off. Her dad is watching from the sidelines, impressed by the mid-fight level up, now in his final form or something. Flame Wolf declares this is unforgivable, his eyes glowing with fire. He promises Cao Yuan is the one going down. This system just tells Cao Yuan to raise his realm, just casually. Go Super Saiyan before he can process that flame. Wolf is already behind him, declaring victory, and our boy is completely stunned. By the sudden burst of speed, Flame Wolf has him by the throat, offering to spare him if he just gives up, pinned and choking. Cao Yuan realizes his main attacks are useless and he needs a new plan. Fast, pinned by the throat, Cao Yuan suddenly exhales a blast of cold air. His opponent is totally blindsided. Dropping a classic move, the sudden cold flash freezes Flame Wolf's hand solid, forcing him to let go. While our boy is coughing, the system confirms his ice breath analysis is at 50%, but Cao Yuan just smirks, deciding 50% is more than enough to work with. Flame Wolf finally gets it. The kid is using ice to restrict his movements. Too bad for him. Flame Wolf is already at stage 6, unleashing a sea of fire. And he gloats from above that his divine fire cannot be restrained. Then he summons a massive wolf of blazing flame to finish the job. Our boy just stares it down, completely unfazed by the giant fire puppy. That fiery beast comes crashing down with explosive force. Lord Silverwolf watches in horror, still calling him a pervert even now, but her dad holds her back, reminding her this is a fight to the death. Inside the inferno, Cao Yuan is about to become barbecue. As the system warns the analysis is too slow, his opponent just tells him to stop resisting and accept his fate, which is when Cao Yuan starts laughing, mocking him for using such a cliché villain line. Flame Wolf is completely thrown off, demanding to know what he just said. "You won't believe this. Our boy just unleashed a massive frost breath tornado from within." Inside the firestorm, she spots it instantly, the legendary ice dragon attack. She's stunned. Did he really copy a dragon's signature skill just by watching? Flame Wolf goes full villain now, screaming about regrets and coffins. Ice breath analysis complete. Cao Yuan mocks his pathetic talk of fate. He calls it what it is, just a convenient excuse for the weak. Suddenly, his opponent realizes the kid used the blast for mobility. Cao Yuan is already midair, momentum building for the kill. He comes in hot, landing a picture-perfect uppercut right to the jaw. Flame Wolf goes flying, launched straight into the stratosphere. Totally outmatched, our boy sticks the landing with absolute ease. His rival crashed down, carving a brand new crater into the floor. He's just a sad, shirtless pancake on the tiles now. The system pings skill copied as Cao Yuan lectures him on protagonist manners. Her dad steps into the ring, officially ending the match. He stares down Flame Wolf, telling him plain and simple, "You lost." Then he drops the bomb. Cao Yuan is his new son-in-law. His daughter is in total shock, panic rising in her eyes. She's trying to keep her cool, but she's screaming internally. Flame Wolf objects, but Cao Yuan is just so done with him. He basically asks the guy if he's begging for another wall-shattering beatdown. His rival proposes a new bet, clearly a glutton for punishment. He really should know better. Betting against a protagonist is a death flag. But the system pings a new quest, forcing our boy's hand. He does a complete 180, cheerfully agreeing to the ridiculous bet. Flame Wolf sets the stakes. If Cao Yuan loses, he leaves Lord Silver Wolf. Our boy just turns the heat right back on him, asking what happens when he inevitably loses this little gamble. Flame Wolf agrees, promising to settle this at the basement gathering. Cao Yuan has zero clue what that is, so she explains. It is a summit for leaders like her, and he is just the plus one. Her dad cuts in, shoving them toward the newlywed room. This man has absolutely zero chill when it comes to his agenda. He literally tosses them both inside and slams the door shut, practically telling them to get on with it already. While she curses her dad, Cao Yuan is just confused by the whole setup. Then the implication of what his father-in-law wants hits him like a truck. He gets the most devious and holy grin on his face. Our boy goes full gremlin mode, but she shuts him down instantly, reminding him this is just a sham marriage for show. She lays down the law. In public, he is her husband, but behind closed doors, he is nothing more than her slave. Cao Yuan is begging for his life, realizing he made a terrible mistake. After that power play, she tells him to pack for the gathering, sarcastically asking if he still really wants that room. You can see it in his eyes. He definitely regrets everything. 2 days later, and poor Cao Yuan is absolutely buried under all the luggage. He is already begging for a breather. She, of course, is feeling great and has zero intention of stopping. She just looks smugly at him, pointing out that life is easy when your sleeve carries everything. As she enjoys the beautiful day, he is basically dying in the background. Suddenly, a volley of sharp throwing knives. Komi screaming out of the trees. Cao Yuan lets out a desperate shout, "Yin Yao, watch out," warning her to be careful. She seems totally caught off guard for a split second before she effortlessly bats away, every single blade casually calling her attackers nothing but ants. She yells a warning about a weapon in his back, but it is a little too late for that. Cao Yuan realizes he is paralyzed, guessing the blade was coated in poison. Down he goes, and she runs over, still calling him a pervert. Naturally, a whole squad of assassins decides this is the perfect moment to strike. Yin Yao is absolutely furious, calling them out for such a cheap, pathetic shot. One attacker, a guy in a blindfold, suddenly face plants, standing her ground. She reminds them exactly who they are messing with, a silent, bladed weapon whistles through the air at her, but Cao Yuan is already on his feet, catching it with chains and asking what the heck it is. The lead assassin steps out, bragging about his soundless, lethal life-taking tool. Just as she is about to lunge, the guy tells her to wait a second. He gloats that Cao Yuan is already a dead man walking from the toxin. Then he offers to maybe save him if she ties herself up, a classic villain move. She looks disgusted, but she still manages to call Cao Yuan a stupid. Pervert our boy, however, is perfectly fine, telling her to go nuts as the system confirms the poison is gone. The lead assassin absolutely loses it, screaming that his special toxin is incurable. With that confirmation, Yin Yao cracks her knuckles, looking relieved and ready for serious violence, leaping into the air. She launches a full-on assault on the terrified assassin. Her eyes are practically glowing as she closes in for the kill. She unleashes a devastating claw strike, ready to end this. Yin Yao is still fuming, demanding to know who else is hiding in the trees. Another Wolf girl appears, asking who just insulted all humans. Then, some smug-looking guy calls their words arrogant. The new girl is immediately dodging a series of massive explosions. Pissed off, she knows they cannot keep this up, but she gets yanked backwards, completely by surprise by Cao Yuan. He tells her to chill and find the real attacker. She immediately accuses him of taking advantage of the situation. Blushing furiously, our boy just notes their hidden opponent is no pushover. And right on cue, the system unlocks a brand new mission chain. Their attacker is finally moving. He unlocks a brand new mission chain. Their attacker. The enemy reveals himself, taunting them from high up on the hilltop. As the Wolf girl spirals, the system orders Cao Yuan to provoke him. Suddenly, a hooded man emerges, calling out to the smug guy. Light of the humans, the Wolf girl is baffled by such a ridiculous name. The guy responds with an unbelievably cringeworthy list of his own accomplishments. Cao Yuan cheerfully points out that this hooded man must be his uncle. The uncle confirms it with a very punchable grin, then takes a single step. He doesn't expect a thing, so Cao Yuan decides this makes it easy. He lunges instantly, tackling the man to the ground. The uncle just screams in total shock as they collide. With him pinned, Cao Yuan taunts the self-proclaimed light of the humans. Up on his perch, the nephew just watches his uncle beg for help. Family comes first, right? This guy has the nerve to blame his uncle's weakness for humanity's bad reputation. Yin Yao immediately claps back. Yeah, humans are weaker. That is a known fact. In a flash, the nephew is behind her, grabbing her shoulder. He asks if he seems weak to her. Then, with a simple flick, he unleashes a vortex of purple energy. It hits her point blank, sending her flipping backward through the air. Completely helpless, she crashed into the ground with a solid bang. He scoffs that a demon's body is no big deal, showing off his glowing hand. From the dirt, she is absolutely furious at the cheap shot. Suddenly, a sword appears right at her neck. This dude, Cao Yuan, gives his full name so she can remember it in the afterlife. What a gentleman, right? But Cao Yuan screams for him to wait. He is not letting that happen. Cao Yuan just glances over smugly, telling him his turn is next. That is when our boy hoists up the uncle, reminding him of the hostage situation. Cao Yuan is absolutely enraged, shocked that anyone would dare threaten him. Cao Yuan puts a knife to the uncle's throat, who immediately starts screaming his head off. The system dings, confirming the mission to piss off the egomaniac is a success. This leaves Cao Yuan confused, since he is sure the hostage is still a trump card. But Cao Yuan just calls his uncle a disgrace and prepares to kill them all anyway. Both Cao Yuan and the uncle are completely stunned by this turn of events. With zero hesitation, Cao Yuan unleashes a massive sword wave at them both. A storm of crescent-shaped energy blades comes flying right for them. Cao Yuan barely dodges, dragging the screaming uncle along for the ride. Jiao Yu looks mildly annoyed, admitting our boy is pretty good at dodging. Our boy tries to appeal to his sense of family, which is clearly a mistake. This guy just calls his uncle's death a glorious sacrifice. Family Man of the Year right here. This realization finally dawns on Cao Yuan. This dude is completely heartless. He takes a firm stance, ready for what comes next. Is real piece of work. This realization finally dawns on Cao Yuan. That this guy is completely heartless, taking a firm stance. He squares up, finally fighting for real, and lets loose that frost breath he snatched from the flame valve. But Jiao Yu, he isn't even phased. His sword whips up a massive whirlwind. He deflects that ice with ease, just a blur of motion before Cao Yuan. That swordsman zips right past him, so Cao Yuan makes a quick choice. He just shoves that uncle back in the way. Problem solved. Jiao Yu. He catches the human shield, calling our boy absolutely despicable for that move. But with the villain totally distracted, Cao Yuan, he vanishes into thin air, only to pop up right behind him at the perfect moment. He unleashes the legendary 1,000-year strike. You know the one, and Jiao Yu lets out a scream that probably scared every bird for miles. He hits the grass face down. Defeated by the ultimate humiliation technique, Cao Yuan just stands there admiring his handiwork, calmly noting that dragon claw hand is super effective on butts. The system confirms. The legendary butt poke was a massive success. And now the next mission pops up. Beat this guy for real. Cao Yuan is immediately suspicious. That felt way too easy for some supposed light of the humans. Right on cue, Jiao Yu is back in the air, screaming about what he wants. And what he wants, with a face full of pure, unadulterated rage, is to kill our boy, but his sword slices through nothing but an afterimage. Leaving him completely baffled, Jiao Yu is left, standing there all alone, wondering where the heck his target vanished to. Turns out Cao Yuan turned into a tiny little plant thing. Hiding behind a tree, narrowly dodging the attack, this little sprout pulls up a system screen, desperately trying to get some intel on his opponent. A profile pops up. Zone protagonist, 300 wins, 0 losses, and his weaknesses are still loading. Just fantastic. With the most useful info still buffering, the little guy knows he has to stall. That plan lasts all of 2 seconds before Jiao Yu finds him, sword poised to strike, and the sprout gets a solid smack right on the side of his head. But Jiao Yu realizes he just clobbered an illusion, not the real deal. In a flash, that other Wolf girl Yin Yao appears, looking ready to throw down. She scoops up the plant form Cao Yuan and charges straight at the enemy. Oh boy is immediately smitten, heart eyes and all, calling her his savior. She is absolutely not having that cutesy nickname, telling him to cut it out right now. From behind, Jiao Yu just scoffs. These inferior beings cannot possibly hope to escape him, so he gives chase, taunting her to try something, anything to fight back but that little plant. Cao Yuan has a sudden idea, telling Yin Yao to just stand by. Yin Yao is completely baffled, asking what he even means by standby. Then a blast of frost breath erupts from the little plant, catching her totally by surprise. Jiao Yu just scoffs at the small tricks, ready to cut right through it. But then a massive flaming valve erupts right out of the attack. It roars in his face, and he realizes with a shock, there is way more to this spell than just wind. Then the whole thing detonates in a massive, fiery explosion. Leaning against a tree to recover, Yin Yao still clutches the sprout. She wonders if that actually finished him off, but our boy is playing it cool. In fact, Cao Yuan is having the absolute time of his life. Snuggling right in, he suddenly shifts back into human form, still holding on. Our boy is just blissfully enjoying the hug, calling it super comfortable. It takes her a solid second to process the situation, blushing furiously. She shoves him off, screaming at him for being a total pervert. Mortified, she tells him to keep his hands to himself. Thank you very much. Cao Yuan argues back that she was the one doing the hugging. That really does not help his case. Ignoring the argument, he asks the system. He wants that weakness he has been waiting on, and the system delivers. It reveals Zhuo Yu has a major childhood trauma about drowning. The plan is simple, just throw him in a lake. He is a bit stumped on where to find one. Then, a brilliant idea strikes. Meanwhile, Yin Yao just assumes he has legit brain damage. With a grin, Cao Yuan turns to her, announcing he needs her help. Yin Yao is completely lost, but she just agrees to the crazy plan. From the smoke, Zhuo Yu emerges, taunting Cao Yuan for finally showing his face. So our boy throws down the gauntlet, a one-on-one duel to the death. No more running. Zhuo Yu's ego practically inflates as he accepts the challenge. Of course, that is Yin Yao's cue to leap from the trees. Launching a surprise attack from above, she slams the ground. It hits with enough force to create a massive crater. The result, one very soggy villain, face down in a conveniently created pond. Cao Yuan drags the waterlogged guy out, while Yin Yao asks what is next. With a grim look, our boy declares that keeping him alive is too dangerous. His hand goes right for his sword, ready to end this for good. He tells Zhuo Yu not to blame him for what has to be done. He puts the blade right to the guy's throat as Yin Yao watches on. This moment of truth arrives, with Zhuo Yu completely at his mercy. But Cao Yuan hesitates, clearly unable to go through with the kill. Yin Yao is just baffled by this sudden change of heart. Since when is he a good person? Suddenly, Zhuo Yu's eyes snap open. He gives a menacing glare. Yin Yao immediately realizes he is awake. Their window is closed. This villain just smirks, asking why he's still alive. Totally calling the bluff, Cao Yuan tries to play it cool. He claims he would never attack an opponent who has not recovered. What a hero! So Zhuo Yu just sits down to meditate. He totally calls the bluff. Cao Yuan tries to play it cool, claiming he would never attack an opponent who has not recovered. What a hero! So Zhao Yu just sits down to meditate. He laughs it off, promising a rematch later. Totally owns the moment. Yin Yao is completely baffled, demanding to know why he isn't finishing this. But our boy has that look of pure focus. He's got something planned. Without a word, he grabs her hand and pulls her into the shadows. Next thing you know, they're perched in a tree, spying on to newcomers. Below, an attendant asks his young master if they should greet the Silver Wolf tribe. The new Wolf boy just scoffs, bragging he already hired humans to slaughter them. What a sweetheart! Up in the tree, Cao Yuan overhears them mentioning a phoenix. He's totally confused. So Yin Yao whispers the legend of a great being that turns vulnerable during its rebirth. And right on cue, a massive pillar of fire erupts from a magic circle. This scorching energy whips through the forest. It shocks them both. Cao Yuan realizes the rebirth is happening way ahead of schedule. Down below, the smug wolf boy gets absolutely blasted by the fiery wave. He's completely stunned, demanding to know who is here. And it's our heroes. They're drawn as noodle people, debating whether to attack or just explain. But the villain just laughs. He taunts them, claiming they're way too late to stop him now. With that, he zips off into the trees. Cao Yuan is right on his tail. Yin Yao is all fired up, yelling that they have to catch him. But Cao Yuan is already giving up dramatically, saying they're all doomed anyway. Suddenly, a projectile zips through the air right past an oblivious Yin Yao. It was aimed at Cao Yuan, who is now dangling from a branch for his life. That smug wolf boy reaches for ultimate power. He is absolutely sure he's won until his face literally cracks. He sees some kind of demon. Meanwhile, Cao Yuan wakes up in a giant crater. He's aching all over, completely lost about how he ended up there. The last thing he remembers is falling with Yin Yao and getting hit by that fire. Then the sudden panic hits. She's nowhere in sight. He stumbles out to find a pristine lake, wondering if he's just dreaming. And in that lake is Yin Yao bathing with a mysterious, red-haired woman. This new lady seems totally chill. Just saying it is no problem. Our boy is peeking from behind a tree, trying to process this. But Yinyao's Volf senses are tingling, and she is not happy. She pegs him with a bucket, calling him a total scoundrel. Fair enough. Then she shields the other woman, yelling at him not to look. Cao Yuan is just a mess of confusion and pure embarrassment. This red-haired woman, however, recognizes him as the one who survived her attack. Our boy realizes her voice is the same one he heard from the sky. Yinyao's ears twitch with pure, unadulterated rage. She gives him a solid punch for not turning around fast enough. This woman, what is she really planning? It turns out Cao Yuan was actually shielding Yinyao all along. Yinyao turns bright red, completely flustered. She just calls him a pervert. Cao Yuan wakes up and finds that red-haired woman right there. She is lying on top of him, greeting him with a casual young one. Our boy is totally caught off guard, questioning that way to familiar greeting. She just gives him a smug look, acting like this is perfectly normal. Suddenly, a guy with purple hair shows up on the scene. He warns the Great Phoenix to stay away from all demons. Yinyao is stunned, her brain just blue screens at the reveal. That is the legendary Phoenix. This legendary bird lady. The Phoenix lady just dismisses him, basically brushing him aside. She says he is just jealous she might find a new contractor. This guy doubles down, warning her that Cao Yuan is a schemer. He claims it is his duty to protect her and draws his blade. He points the weapon at our boy, demanding that he surrender immediately. Cao Yuan stands his ground. He has that classic "you do not own me" energy. That is all the excuse the new guy needs to stop being polite. Our boy is quickly overwhelmed, unable to even track his opponent's speed. In a blur of motion, they clash in a high-speed duel. It ends in an instant with Cao Yuan taking a brutal slash. He is hit right across the chest. From the sidelines, Yinyao yells. She shouts pervert again, her go-to insult for every single occasion. Honestly, you have to laugh at how consistent she is. Meanwhile, the Phoenix just watches with a completely blank expression. Super helpful of her. Cao Yuan is sent flying through the air. He reverts to his little sprout form, looking totally knocked out cold. Yinyao rushes to his side, asking if the unconscious guy is okay. But the attacker just smirks, bragging about his lethal sure-kill technique. He claims it is a finishing blow, so he is definitely not waking up. Yinyao is absolutely furious now. She demands to know why he had to go straight for the kill. Finally, the Phoenix's eyes narrow, looks like her nap time is over. She speaks up, asking why he used a lethal strike on a junior. This guy spouts some nonsense about the natural order of the world. Yinyao fires back, asking if he will kill her for being a demon. He dismisses her as a divine beast but warns her not to interfere. She just stares him down, telling him to go right ahead and try. This completely throws him off his high horse, calling her stupid. The Phoenix calls him out, asking if he is scared, since his thoughts are messy. He puffs out his chest, declaring he is the light of the humans. Sure, buddy, she is clearly not impressed by this display of ego. She adds that Cao Yuan survived her own attack earlier today. That makes her very interested in seeing what he can do. She places a hand on the little sprout, and he starts glowing. The purple-haired guy looks absolutely terrified as that power erupts. He loses it. She's making a contract. He screams for her to stop. He tries to use his own blood to force a connection. He gets blasted. A massive pillar of fiery energy throws him back. Deep inside that light, the Phoenix makes her oath with the little sprout, sealing the pact between them for good. And just like that, Cao Yuan is back in human form, held by the Phoenix. She leans in super close, almost like a kiss. She tells our boy to wake up. If he doesn't, he's actually going to die. His eyes snap right open. He's back in the game. Cao Yuan is finally awake, and the Phoenix is way too close for comfort. Yinyao immediately goes back to her default setting. She calls him a pervert, but she's super flustered, feeling something she can't quite place. Just then, the purple-haired guy returns, declaring a death sentence on anyone with a phoenix contract. He powers up his sword, finally ready to get serious. With some fancy technique, he unleashes a massive energy flash right at them. Cao Yuan is just exasperated. He asks if this guy has any hobbies. Besides trying to kill him with a poof, he transforms back into his adorable little sprout form. This phoenix holds him up, playing the victim and telling the attacker he's being a bully. This sends Yin Yao into a rage, screaming at the guy to back off. Then she turns on the phoenix, totally confused about why she's protecting the pervert now. Our new phoenix friend immediately has beer's remorse, calling the sprout lame. He's just sitting there like, what contract? Completely out of the loop. She lays down the ground rules, no calling her sister. She's a baby now, but he can call her Dan. That makes the little sprout pretty happy. Dan then casually mentions her last 6 contractors said the same thing before they died. This sprout's face is pure horror. He asks if they at least died peacefully of old age. Nope, the purple-haired guy helpfully explains. The contract's main feature, you become a target for everyone. Dan just shrugs, saying she thought his fight was interesting and she just wanted to watch the show. And with that, she drops him, saying it's no big deal to her if he dies. What a great partner. Dan cheerfully adds she's fine with killing off useless contractors. Well, the purple-haired guy is still trying to murder the sprout. Screaming he's cornered, he immediately trips over his own feet and eats dirt. Our little sprout zips right past, looking way too pleased with himself, leaving his attacker absolutely stunned that a plant is outmaneuvering him from the sidelines. Yin Yao is just trying to process this whole mess, but Dan has a knowing smirk, sensing things are about to get interesting. Just then, a massive shadowy wolf appears, noting the phoenix has a new partner. Yin Yao immediately spins around, demanding to know who's there. At the same time, the swordsman, he spins around, demanding to know who is there. Simultaneously, the swordsman, Dan finds herself tangled in glowing white ribbons. Cao Yuan is frantically dodging them too. That little sprout is on a mission. Their attacker is losing his mind, ranting about all the stronger demons he has slain. To which the sprite just yells back that he has no idea how he is doing it either. This new wolfman steps forward, greeting Dan like an old friend. Yin Yao, ever the protector, jumps in front of her, demanding to know who he is. But Dan just smirks, calling him second brother with a little too much familiarity. He is clearly not here for a reunion, shutting down any small talk instantly. Her expression hardens as she senses his sharp, murderous intent. In a flash, she grabs Yin Yao's wrist. She tells her they need to run right now. Without a second thought, Dan just hurls Yin Yao at the new wolfman. Our girl goes flying, totally confused, with the little sprout right behind her. She is still tumbling through the air, looking more angry than scared. She lands right on Cao Yuan, who is suddenly human again, to catch her. This wolfman smashes the ground, claiming he is just following his master's orders. He calls Dan pathetically weak for a divine beast, even if she was just reborn. While holding her, he questions why she would ever accept a human as her contractor. Dan just looks up at him coldly, asking if he has become someone's dog. He fires back that his claws are still plenty sharp. Thank you very much. From the sidelines, Yin Yao sprints in, telling them to stop. She reaches Dan, asking why two siblings have to be so brutal. This guy just snarls at her to mind her own business, calling her an inferior wolf. That triggers Yin Yao to declare that Dan is under her protection. Because she is contracted to her husband, she says she will not back down. He is absolutely done with this, extending his claws and offering her death. Yin Yao just holds Dan tighter, refusing to move an inch. Meanwhile, Dan is just like, husband? What husband? This wolfman switches targets, grabbing Cao Yuan by the wrist. Our boy's eyes narrow with a classic do not you dare touch her glare. This actually surprises the Wolf, realizing Cao Yuan withstood his grip. And Cao Yuan just smirks, telling him not to look down on him. This wolfman makes it simple. To bring the phoenix back, her contractor has to die. Now watch this. Cao Yuan just smirks, basically telling him to prove it. From the sidelines, Yin Yao asks her pervert if he has any way to deal with this guy. Our boy gives a confident look back, assuring her he has got a plan. Yin Yao is completely shocked, wondering what he could possibly be thinking. He just gives this incredibly smug grin, ready for the big reveal. His genius plan is to run. Scooping up both girls, he bolts away. This wolfman is absolutely furious, screaming at the despicable scum to stop. But then he is suddenly forced to halt. Wears a smug grin, ready for the big reveal. His genius plan is to run. Scooping up both girls and bolting. This wolfman is absolutely furious, screaming at the despicable scum to stop. But he is suddenly forced to halt. His pursuit, this purple-haired swordsman is back, blocking his path to protect the phoenix. He declares his debt to Lang. Yen repaid, ready for a fight. Meanwhile, Cao Yuan is still sprinting. While Yin Yao demands to be put down, Dan, draped over his shoulder, asks if he really just ditched the human back there. He yells back that he had no choice since he cannot beat the guy. Yin Yao immediately calls him out for being so unmanly in front of his wife. She gets super flustered, insisting their marriage is for a very special reason. Dan then pipes up, telling her new contractor his power is way stronger now. While he is thinking he would rather be dead, she is calling him a passable husband. He sets them down, telling them to wait there as he prepares to head back. With newfound determination, Cao Yuan charges back into the fight. Alone, back in the fray, the purple-haired swordsman is getting absolutely body, calling the wolfman despicable. This wolfman just scoffs, saying he is not worth the time to beat properly. Our swordsman is full of excuses, blaming his inability to use his special sword. Just then, Cao Yuan casually strolls up, asking if he is giving up already. This guy is completely shocked, demanding to know why he came back. Cao Yuan just gives him a look, basically saying it was not his idea. His system helpfully chimes in, warning him the target is unbeatable and to retreat. Immediately, of course, he completely ignores it, declaring he is going to fight right here. This wolfman is delighted, thanking him for saving him the trouble of a hunt. He then invites the contractor. He claims this is an honorable fight. Total lie. Cao Yuan. The guy gets this unhinged look, roaring as he preps to throw down. The wolfman charges to flatten him, winding up a massive blow. He throws a punch aimed right at our boy's face. That fist is basically the size of a car, but it completely misses. The wolfman is stunned because Cao Yuan just vaulted onto his back. I am over here, he yells, unleashing his greedy wolf claw attack. It's crackling with raw lightning. The strike lands right on the back of the beast's head, but it just rebounds like a rubber ball, sending Cao Yuan flying. He barely manages to land on his feet, feeling the brutal recoil. The wolfman is completely unfazed, barely blinking as he asks, "Is that really all he has?" With a bored look, he adds, "It did not even hurt, not even a little." Cao Yuan desperately begs his system to find a weakness, any weakness at all. The system helpfully pops up to say his odds are 0%. Our boy is horrified, remembering Dan promised he could win this. He immediately tries to call it quits, waving his hand. "Goodbye," he shouts, promising he will see him next time. The wolfman isn't impressed, mocking him for wanting to be a hero. He throws another punch, clearly done playing around. Cao Yuan stays on the sidelines, baffled that he can't land a single hit. The swordsman watches closely, noticing that same weirdly effective evasion from before. It hits Cao Yuan. His own body is just auto-dodging every swing. That gives him a brilliant idea, a truly terrible, brilliant plan. He decides to just tire the big guy out in a total war of attrition. The wolfman shoots him a look, completely enemies by Cao Yuan's logic. Cao Yuan lays it out since he cannot be hit. He'll just stall. But the wolf's eyes narrow, claiming he has already seen through the trick. That leaves Cao Yuan completely stunned. He's wondering what trick the guy is talking about when suddenly, lightning strikes. A fast slash cuts through the air right past him, and the wolfman smirks. He points out that he did, in fact, just hit him, and sure enough, Cao Yuan clutches his bloody arm, totally bewildered and in full panic mode. He's spiraling, wondering how the guy's speed just shot through the roof. Even the swordsman is confused, unable to figure out this technique. The swordsman explains the wolfman's secret. It isn't just raw speed. Meanwhile, Dan is casually explaining Cao Yuan's new wine-based powers. This formation lets him sense and predict every incoming movement. Dan confirms it's possible, but only if you have a brain like a supercomputer. Back in the fight, his system warns him that another attack is imminent. The wolfman shifts into a white tiger form, promising to end this now. He absolutely unloads on our boy. A brutal strike lands, leaving Cao Yuan reeling from the sheer force. This tiger man seems to have figured out his evasion trick entirely. Our boy knows he absolutely has to dodge what is coming next. The beast winds up for another devastating blow, but it is just too fast. The punch connects, sending him flying while his opponent gloats. He mocks him, shouting that prediction means nothing against raw power. Cao Yuan is just confused, wondering what he means by blood loss. Because his arm is already completely healed, which leaves the tiger man speechless. Cao Yuan just smirks. He chalks it up to his grass demon perks, but then Yin Yao clutches her head. Her eyes suddenly flash a brilliant, unfamiliar gold, and the entire group is instantly teleported to a misty forest. Dan is super chill, telling Yin Yao to just watch the show. Meanwhile, Yin Yao is freaking out, convinced Cao Yuan is about to get wrecked. This phoenix just smiles, promising the good part is just beginning. Right on cue, Cao Yuan gets launched into the sky like a rag doll. His opponent taunts him from below, asking why he's even trying. With a furious glare, Cao Yuan declares he is defending his wife, sister, and pet. That sends Yin Yao into a rage. She starts yelling about who is a wife and who is a pet. She begs Dan to let her go so she can intervene, but a hand gently takes hers, leaving Yin Yao completely stunned. As Dan stays calm, she tells her to just leave it all to her. Down below, the tiger man has had enough time to show them a real technique. He powers up a massive, wide-range attack. And Cao Yuan is suddenly caught in the middle of that glowing blue energy. Trapped in a massive, crackling formation, the beast starts to brag. He claims this attack hits everything in a huge radius. But then, a giant pillar of energy erupts from the ground. From the sidelines, the injured swordsman starts worrying about Lang Yan. Yin Yao immediately snaps back. That pervert's name is not Lang Yan. We get a quick flashback to Cao Yuan proudly declaring that very fake name. The swordsman is having a full-on system crash, totally confused by this whole exchange. Meanwhile, Cao Yuan is just chilling inside the giant energy formation. He looks bored, sporting a smug little grin. He tells the tiger his big move is completely worthless. That sends the tiger man into a blind rage, swearing he will tear this human apart. He dares Cao Yuan to try that stunt one more time. Our boy answers with a massive frost breath attack. It flash freezes the tiger solid. The beast somehow recognizes it as dragon power, but then a mysterious red-haired woman pops into existence. She calls his name, casually floating down as he yells at her for not flying properly. Her landing is a perfect bingo. Meanwhile, Cao Yuan eats dirt. What a graceful entrance. He scrambles up, completely flustered and demanding to know what she wants. She just smiles, saying she's only here to say thanks. Then she calls him Little Cao Yuan. That is definitely not helping his ego. He absolutely loses his mind. He screams that she just gave the enemy his real name. Her eyes narrow as she asks why it matters if a pet calls its owner's name. The whole atmosphere shifts as she repeats the word pet with a whole lot of menace. Cao Yuan realizes in a heartbeat he has stepped on a landmine. Meanwhile, the tiger man has broken free from the ice, looking a bit worse for wear. He is laughing his head off, thanking the phoenix for the help. She just smirks back, revealing she knows his big secret. His claws have to touch the ground. She touches the tiger's head with a glowing red seal. Explaining his one fatal flaw with a smug look, she calls him out for being incredibly careless. Then she unleashes a massive energy blast right at his face. The tiger man just scoffs, completely confident he can handle whatever she throws at him. But it was a total feint. She is already dragging Cao Yuan away by the hand. She tells him to get out of here. She cannot save him if he gets caught. Cao Yuan is completely lost, demanding to know what she is even talking about. Because now, the purple-haired swordsman is facing the tiger man all by himself. His sword glows with immense power, ready for one last desperate stand. His sword glows with immense power for one last desperate stand. The tiger man takes the side attack, looking completely unimpressed. Suddenly, the swordsman leaps into the air. A storm of purple lightning crackles around him as he unleashes his ultimate. The Sword of Luck strikes home, triggering a massive, fiery explosion. Watching from the sidelines, the phoenix notes he was hiding a powerful skill. Too bad he wasted it against her. She quickly corrects herself with a sly, knowing smile. That is not what she meant, of course. Then she starts giving Cao Yuan a full-on lecture about luck energy, complete with chibi diagrams. Apparently, the swordsman is one of the few who can weaponize good fortune itself. She suspects his luck was disrupted earlier, which is why his blade failed him. That hits hard. Cao Yuan has a sudden, jarring flashback. He realizes his system's plan was to literally steal the guy's luck. Back in the arena, a sword has pinned the tiger man's hand straight to the ground. The swordsman stands over the pinned hand, looking a little shocked himself. He's completely baffled that his ultimate attack only managed to do that. Although, to be fair, he did blow the guy into a brand new crater. He casually strolls out of the blast zone. Much to everyone's surprise, the fight ends right there. He immediately declares their alliance void and promises to kill Cao Yuan next. Cao Yuan absolutely loses it. He screams that the guy would be dead without his help. But the swordsman has one last thing to settle before he bounces. Suddenly, a Wolf girl appears, declaring she has finally found him. The swordsman just ignores her and walks off, leaving Cao Yuan to deal with this new mess. The Wolf girl is clearly panicking now that her target is just leaving. She takes a deep breath, trying to work up the nerve to say something. Then she immediately turns beet red, completely losing her cool. She finally shouts out Cao Yuan's name. It definitely gets his attention. Our boy points to himself, totally confused as to who she even is. She tries to play it tough, but her internal monologue is just pure, unfiltered panic. The phoenix tells Cao Yuan she is going to seal the tiger and orders him to get lost. So he just grabs the confused Wolf girl and makes a run for it. He yanks her by the wrist without a second thought. She's left completely speechless at the sudden development. Back with the phoenix, she casually mentions it has been about 600 years. She turns to the now conscious tiger man, asking if he's finally awake. The tiger starts lecturing her about not finding a contractor like Cao Yuan in centuries. She just plays dumb, asking what kind of contractor he could possibly mean. But the tiger man insists our boy's style is just like someone from 600 years ago. And that name is apparently a very sore subject. She lectures him about not finding a contractor like Cao Yuan in ages. She plays dumb, asking what kind of contractor he could mean. But the tiger man insists our boy's style is unique. Like someone from 600 years ago, a name that's a sore spot. She screams at him to shut it, and the entire atmosphere shifts. She threatens to tear his throat out if he dares say another word. Fiery reps, a wave of raw power just to sell the point home. Even that massive tiger looks terrified, sensing her overwhelming pressure. With her threat hanging in the air, she calmly makes her stance clear. He is not getting away this time. Then she glances around, wondering where her two little ones have run off to. Meanwhile, Cao Yuan is hiding with the Wolf girl, who notes he seems petrified of the phoenix. He insists she is a devil in disguise, just toying with the tiger for fun. But the Wolf girl flat out disagrees, calling the phoenix kind. She starts praising Cao Yuan's battle strategy. Our boy gets all flustered, claiming he is just an innocent kid. Compared to that ancient monster, this earns him a sharp cheek pinch for bad-mouthing her hero, Lord Phoenix. This Wolf girl is convinced he has a million tricks left to play, which sends Cao Yuan into a panic, swearing he is fresh out of ideas. She absolutely explodes, yelling he is insane for fighting without a plan, but then her anger vanishes as she points to his hand, asking what is wrong with it. Cao Yuan holds his hand up awkwardly, explaining it has been twitching since the fight. This Wolf girl is completely unimpressed, saying it is his own damn fault. She even calls him an idiot for coming back to a fight he could not possibly win. Our boy immediately zeroes in on the subtext. Wait, were you actually worried about me? This earns him a swift kick to the back as she declares he is her slave, now followed by an instant, mortified apology when she realizes she just decked an injured guy. He springs up, screaming about her terrible bedside manner. She yells at him to know his place because of course she does. Then the rage vanishes, replaced by a sweet smile, thanking him for the rescue. Without a hint of transition, she invites him to the demon race meeting, leaving Cao Yuan a blushing, confused heap on the grass. Just trying to process the whiplash, she offers him a hand, telling him to get up already. Looking up, he gives a small, determined smile and takes her hand in a moment straight out of a romance novel. He pulls her along, leading the way as she declares it is time to continue their journey. The two of them just casually stroll off hand in hand. Internally, Cao Yuan is just trying to figure out her aggressive vibe today, when she suddenly turns and asks if he likes her question from deep left field. Her brain immediately short-circuits, realizing what she just blurted out. Her answer to his dumb question is a swift, open palm slap, which connects perfectly, sending Cao Yuan reeling in total shock. He hits the dirt. Absolutely furious at this turn of events, she warns him to quit talking nonsense, or she won't be so merciful next time. Our guy just mutters. He's muttering about how terrifying she is as she turns away. He tries to settle her down, but she's still giving him the cold shoulder. Suddenly, they both look up. Something massive just arrived. A hulking wolfman towers over them, radiating pure menace. Cao Yuan immediately tells her to get back. He knows this guy is bad news. He leaps forward, unleashing a vicious wolf claw attack of his own. That strike lands perfectly, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. He's left completely baffled, wondering if the guy was actually that weak. But from inside the smoke, a pair of glowing red eyes glare. They're staring daggers at him, revealing not a monster, but a furious white tiger cat is there, screaming wild threats. This Wolf girl's brain completely short-circuits. She sees him and immediately scoops him up for a death by cuddle session. Up in a tree, the phoenix asks how he knew the tiger's power was sealed. Cao Yuan tries to bargain for his life, but she just tells him to kill it. With a sly grin, she admits she was just testing his killer instinct. All the while, the tiny tiger swears bloody vengeance. He's just getting smothered with affection right now. Cao Yuan holds up the tiny tiger, asking the Wolf girl if that's true. This once mighty demon lord is just confused, wondering what the hell is happening. With a truly unhinged grin, our boy promises to show him real power, which apparently involves forcing him into a weird, humiliating exercise routine. This little guy is absolutely losing it, screaming he's a tiger, not a house cat. Suddenly, the phoenix appears, asking if they're heading to the demon meeting next. The Wolf girl proudly declares that Cao Yuan is the future leader. But the phoenix immediately vetoes that, saying he's traveling with her instead. She grabs him, calling him her little husband and demanding an escort. They're both stunned, since her destination is deep inside human territory. Meanwhile, she's just dangling the tiny tiger by his leg like a keychain. Cao Yuan is already fed up, asking why she can't just go alone. She puts on her best damsel act, pretending to be a helpless little girl. And of course, our boy gets totally flustered by the sudden closeness. In a moment of pure panic, he grabs the Wolf girl. He pulls her into a hug, declaring they're newlyweds who can't be separated. That is definitely news to her. Her ears twitch, signaling the imminent arrival of a rage-fueled beatdown. She immediately starts screaming for him to let go, calling him a total pervert. He just shushes her, desperately trying to get her to play along. So they put on a painfully awkward show for the Phoenix. And honestly, the Phoenix looks thoroughly unconvinced. That bird just muses quietly about a contract. He is desperate, trying to drag her into his terrible plan. They put on a painfully awkward show for the Phoenix. She looks thoroughly unconvinced, musing about the contract. Made when she was weak, needing protection and Cao Yuan instantly panics, thinking her newlyweds act might actually be real, which earns him a look of pure disgust from the Wolf girl. He tries to play it off, telling the Phoenix he is just worried Yin Yao is too weak for the meeting. That weak comment lands like a physical blow. As he keeps talking, her rage builds to a boiling point. Right behind him, her hands clench into tight fists. The point of no return has arrived, and she flips him instantly for daring to call her weak. From the sidelines, the Phoenix just cheers on the beat down, loving every bit of the drama. Yin Yao dusts off her hands, telling the Phoenix to take the pervert and go, leaving our boy groaning on the ground about how cruel life is. He warns the Phoenix that if Yin Yao gets hurt, there will be hell to pay. But she just smiles, saying she has her own ways of handling things. A single feather lands on Yin Yao's back, glowing with protective power. Business handled. The Phoenix turns back to Cao Yuan with a serious question, leaning in close, her voice dropping to something far more intense, and asks what he actually knows about being reborn in another world. She lays it out plain, asking if he has ever heard of reincarnation. Cao Yuan's mind shatters, thinking his biggest secret is completely blown. This Phoenix just stares, waiting for an answer to a question that could change everything. Then she plays it off, saying she was just overthinking things before telling the tiny tiger he is sealed and coming with her. No escape. Turning to Cao Yuan, she asks if he is ready for what is next. Our boy is having some serious regrets about this whole contract. Without another word, she starts forming a complex hand sign, gathering a massive sphere of glowing energy as she chants an incantation, and a giant teleportation circle erupts right beneath their feet. The world dissolves into a blinding flash of light, sending Cao Yuan and the tiger screaming through the sky. He tries to brace himself against the insane magical pressure, finding himself floating in some weird celestial void until the view clears, revealing a massive city she calls the capital. As they start falling, he panics, yelling that he knows this place, so he grabs her by the hair to steer. A truly terrible life choice. They both slam into the ground, creating a very personal crater. For our boy, he's absolutely furious, screaming that a little warning would have been nice, looking down at his crumpled form. She just calls him totally unreliable, but getting to his feet, Cao Yuan realizes this place is way too quiet for the capital. She tells him to follow, admitting their target is here and she cannot afford to be reckless, leaving him more confused than ever. Just as Cao Yuan wonders what the hell is happening, the Phoenix starts explaining. This place has been desolate for 600 years. Looking over the ruins, she wonders. She asks how long this fragile reality can hold out, then turns to Cao Yuan. She quizzes him on the cause of the decay. He listens intently as she explains. A powerful external force is the only answer. With a smug little smirk, she calls him smart for putting it together, when suddenly his system screams, "Undefeatable enemy detected," because of course it does. Our boy looks up, sensing immediate and overwhelming danger. A massive water serpent erupts from the ground, Ready to party, the thing lunges forward with serious killing intent. So Cao Yuan instantly shoves the phoenix behind him, telling her to stay back. The serpent unleashes a dragon breath, a massive blast of crystal energy that gets a glowing review from a giant talking turtle who just showed up. This new arrival asks the phoenix if Cao Yuan is her new contractor. Its massive eye sizes up the situation with ancient wisdom. A colossal leg stomps down, shaking the very ground they stand on, leaving Cao Yuan to have a complete, full-volume meltdown about its size. This phoenix, meanwhile, is just calmly telling him to watch his language as the giant turtle greets her, saying it has been a while. She cuts right to the chase, telling this fourth master they have no time for reunions. In response, the turtle just says they will stick to the old rules. Then his world dissolves into a thick mist, leaving Cao Yuan wondering if this is another illusion. But the phoenix warns him this place is very real, and failure to escape means death. She explains the old rule is to break the illusion to see the truth, a game she has played for years. With a sly wink, she says she has no choice but to rely on him now because she loves him. Her eyes narrow, questioning where he thinks he is going in such a hurry. Our boy just brushes her off, declaring he's going to find Yin Yao and this isn't his problem. A confident smirk crosses her face as she tells him there is no running away. This sends Cao Yuan into a full-blown panic. Now listen to this, he's screaming about not wanting to die in a tangible nightmare. Utterly confused, he just stands there trying to figure out what is even happening. Suddenly, the phoenix reappears in a much more revealing outfit, asking if he is really leaving. Leaning in close, she tries to tempt him into staying just a little longer. This invitation is pretty damn clear, and our boy is absolutely not equipped to handle this. Cao Yuan immediately starts flailing, insisting he is a good young man. She just keeps pushing, asking if it's too much trouble to help a good boy out of his clothes. His brain completely short-circuits as he looks down, totally lost. To his absolute horror, his own hands are already pulling at her outfit. He leaps back in shock as the garment falls, screaming about how that even happened. Standing by the water, she tells him it is not what he thinks. Poor guy is a blushing wreck on the floor. Then she holds up those clothes. She blames him for getting them dirty, leaning right into his personal space. She tells him to forget it if he won't wear them. The kid is shattered. She flashes a smug little look, clearly loving his total system failure. And inside this illusion, she keeps playing the innocent victim. She asks him what is wrong. Pure acting. Cao Yuan's brain just blue screens. He completely forgets this is a death trap. Phoenix gets closer, accusing him of spying after fighting her brother. Oh boy is totally lost, wondering when that ever happened. Her hand rests on his chest. The psychological pressure is hitting 11. Finally, he realizes this is not his memory. It is the illusion's power at work. She leans in close. Why is her little brother suddenly so quiet? She asks. Internally, he is just screaming at himself to break free. Meanwhile, the giant turtle explains his technique. He traps victims in centuries of illusion, rambling about an old alliance. Phoenix tells him to shut up. She insists it is all in the past. She claims she has forgotten the person he mentioned. The turtle spots the tiny tiger, asking why she brought such a stupid animal. This finally sets her off. She demands to know why he forces her to bring a contractor. A single tear falls. She admits she just wanted to see someone. She breaks down, hiding her face in her hands. The turtle warns her that these contracts are a death sentence. He tells her Cao Yuan is not who she is looking for. The turtle threatens that failing his test means death. She scoffs at him. Her confidence completely rattles the ancient being. He bows his head, stunned, asking how she managed to escape the illusion. Now watch this. The game is about to change. Inside the illusion, Cao Yuan walks calmly, sensing he is near the exit. The illusion master, a grim old man, is not impressed by this kid. Our boy reveals his trick. He has shut down his 5 senses to avoid being fooled. Instead, he is using his system to map energy flows, a total cheat code. The old man is baffled, wondering how the kid can see him. The master knows the slightest movement will give his position away. He tries to take a single, impossibly stealthy step, but Cao Yuan's senses are already locked right onto him. He explodes forward in a blur, ready to end this test. The old man is absolutely stunned his stealth failed. Our boy immediately grabs him by the throat. Eyes glowing, he taunts the guy for being weak outside his domain. A massive vortex of fire erupts. All this time, Cao Yuan has been watching from the outside. The phoenix recognizes his unique array technique. The old man struggles to breathe, barely managing to choke out one word, enough. Cao Yuan just lets him go, casually swirling a ball of water in his palm. Pure flex. Now the old master concedes, admitting the kid has officially passed his trial. Our boy just waves it off, though he admits it wasn't exactly a walk in the park. Then he roasts the guy, saying he isn't nearly as old or wise as he looks. His eyes flash gold, and you can feel the real fight is just about to start. Turns out this old man is Zhang Juan, leaving the phoenix looking absolutely stunned. Then a vision hits. Some white-haired pretty boy wants to borrow a body to save humanity. Our boy immediately calls BS, realizing this is just a slick body-snatching sales pitch. But the phoenix yanks him away by his hair tie, dragging him off mid-freak-out. Getting right in his face, she demands he explain what on earth just happened. He just declares he is out, heading back to the competition to find Yin Meng. Cao Yuan screams that he is not following her anymore. So she hits back. Fine, she will just follow him instead. That answer completely short-circuits his brain. Logic not found. She narrows her eyes, realizing his sudden weirdness must be connected to her. Meanwhile, the tiny tiger asks Jiangshan why he attacked the phoenix in the first place. Suddenly, some disembodied red eyes ask the white tiger what is up with his cute new look. The tiger whines that his master sealed him, complaining to this mysterious, dark voice. That shadowy presence calls him trash, then offers to break the seal for him. The tension between Cao Yuan, the phoenix, and the old man is skyrocketing. With the seal broken, the tiny tiger erupts into its true, massive form. Oh boy is losing it, yelling at the phoenix about her supposedly unbreakable seal. Jiangshan steps forward, telling the kids to run while he handles the giant beast. He realizes the divine creature has been enslaved by a demon, a total disgrace. Cut to a demon lord on his throne, telling his two minions to take a seal and go. His blonde-haired underling bows, accepting the orders without a single question. This minion grips his ornate, gem-studded scepter, ordering a massive pig demon to the monster realm. Elsewhere, a hooded figure wants a silver wolf with a phoenix mark captured. Back at the competition, some poor cat guy is getting absolutely wrecked in the arena. He gets launched into the stratosphere mid-scream. Watching from the side, a silver-haired wolf girl is bored with her clan's winning streak. She thinks back to some little wolf who is always joking around. A total disgrace, cut to a demon lord on his throne, telling his minions to take a seal and get moving. His blonde underling bows, accepting the orders without a word. The minion grips his ornate, gem-studded scepter. He orders a massive pig demon to head for the monster realm. Elsewhere, a hooded figure wants a silver wolf captured, one with a phoenix mark. Cut to the competition arena. Some poor cat guy is getting wrecked, and I mean absolutely launched into the stratosphere mid-scream. Watching from the side, a silver-haired wolf girl is bored. She thinks about some little wolf who is always joking around. Just in time, that same pig demon steps up as her next challenger. He is a little bigger than she was expecting, this guy notes. He claims he has never seen anyone like her, but she just says bring it on. Full of confidence, a single drop of blood hits the floor, which is never a good sign. And yeah, he's holding her by the head, mocking her weakness. He expected more from someone the phoenix brought. A clear case of mistaken identity. Then he just swats her. away like a fly. This whole thing is just boring him now. So his new plan, kill everyone here. Because why not? His eyes gleam. With some serious murderous intent, this crowd of beasts, people collectively lose their minds, hoping he is kidding, and that hooded figure from before is just standing there watching it all go down, and that hooded observer just smirks, clearly enjoying the show. Meanwhile, Cao Yuan is sprinting back, his system blaring about a massive energy signature. It warns him about a genius monster tamer, way out of his league, and advises a tactical retreat so naturally. He just launches himself right over the arena wall, landing just in time to see the pig demon standing over the downed silver. Wolf girl, our boy swoops in for the dramatic, perfectly timed catch, leaving Yinming completely stunned, asking why he even came back. This pig demon demands to know who this pest is, while she warns Cao Yuan to be careful, but he is not listening, declaring no one gets to hurt Yinming on his watch. With that, he summons a massive sword made of pure blue energy. His hands grip the hilt as it crackles with raw power, and he tells the pig to get ready for a taste of his new style. This pig demon is completely unimpressed, calling it a cheap trick, but Cao Yuan's eyes are glowing. He is absolutely not messing around. He unleashes his invisible elephant attack, a massive wave of force, which makes Yinming gasp, recognizing it as a human technique. Cao Yuan explains he has even upgraded it with ice for extra damage. This pig demon just curses, a little bit of energy sparking on his arm. He scoffs that the kid cannot hurt him, but our boy says that is the plan. Then he charges straight in, ready to slice and dice the overgrown bacon. Cao Yuan's eyes are blazing as he unleashes the freeze effect, which spreads across the pig demon's skin, though he just winks it off. Yinming worries that the backlash is hurting Cao Yuan too. This pig demon mocks him, saying his speed is completely gone, but our boy just smirks, his system already building ice resistance. What a cheater! He asks why the pig thinks he would drag this out, his own damage already healing. That revelation leaves the demon absolutely stunned, yelling it is impossible. The leap, Cao Yuan flips the script, calling the pig. He slows his movement, then strikes like a lightning bolt against the massive beast. A perfect hit lands right on target. He drives his fist through the demon's back, mocking the sloppy giant pig demon. The monster collapses, totally defeated. Cao Yuan stands over the wreck. He declares this is payback for hurting Yinming, but the hooded observer watches from the side. That creep calls him the careless one. Yinming screams a warning to him. Watch out, look behind you. Cao Yuan whips around in a panic. He's completely caught off guard. The hooded creep is already there, laughing that it is far too late for him. A blast of purple energy sends Cao Yuan flying across the arena. This unknown power engulfs him completely, frying his system from the inside out. Seeing this, Yinming absolutely loses it. She demands the guy let him go. She launches herself forward. A brutal kick sends the hooded creep flying clean across the arena floor. The guy is just annoyed, complaining he totally forgot she was even there. She rushes to Cao Yuan's side, frantic, asking if he is actually all right. The creep gloats, claiming he has sealed our boy's system and skills for good. He calls Cao Yuan trash. This leaves our hero floored. Cao Yuan demands to know how he even knows about the system in the first place. The villain just powers up, sneering that he does not explain things to dead men. Our boy gets back on his feet, calling up a surge of green energy. He stares the villain down, asking if that is really all he has got. His hands are crackling with raw, nature-based power. Suddenly, a tree golem bursts from the floor, grabbing the villain's leg. The creep is completely caught off guard as thick vines wrap him up tight. Perched on a giant tree, Cao Yuan explains the situation. The seal only blocked his borrowed skills, not his true grass essence power. Yinming freaks out. She yells at him to stop, knowing using his spiritual body is a death sentence. He is not listening. Declaring it is not over, he forms a new golden energy attack. He unleashes a massive, swirling vortex of golden fire. Yunming instantly recognizes it, the magic circle from the forest where she met the phoenix. This villain is getting absolutely cooked. He is screaming his head off as the flames consume him. It is finally over. Cao Yuan is panting, his hand bloody from the insane strain. She runs over to check on him, but he tries to play it cool. Of course, she grabs his hand anyway. She points out the burn while he insists it is totally fine. Then she just licks the wound clean. Okay, that is one way to handle first aid. Our boy is completely flustered, but she just explains it is how wolves clean wounds. He quickly changes the subject, asking where the phoenix has gone. This triggers a memory of her walking away from him in a field. She had apparently left to deal with a little stalker. They had split up when suddenly a voice calls out from off-screen. The hooded freak mocks them, a tender moment right in the face of death. It snaps them both back to their grim reality. That hooded creep finally shows his face, sarcastic as ever. He claims he didn't see a thing, but Cao Yuan is in total shock. His ultimate attack, it did absolutely nothing. The villain explains he absorbs energy, turning it into a defensive shield. And in the same breath, he flips the shield right back around. He grabs our boy and runs him straight through with a purple energy blast. Yunming screams his name, absolutely horrified by this sudden turn. Before she can even react, the villain casually swats her away. He stands over her, gloating that he's just destroyed her only hope. She screams, feeling completely powerless while this psycho just laughs, calling her struggle beautiful, a total creep vibes. He declares his clan will now be the true kings of all monsters. Now watch this, the beast people collectively freak out. Their champions are defeated, and the villain looms over them. Everyone starts screaming, desperate to run for their lives. But his victory speech is cut short by genuine confusion. He's wondering what trick is being pulled on him right now. Suddenly, the scene shifts to a flashback, our villain facing a new kid. He smirks, having some kind of galaxy brain realization. The kid stands there with two blindfolded bodyguards. The villain looks surprised, sensing the kid knows a special trick. Because this new guy has a system, too. It's just given him a timed mission to capture the villain. The pressure is on, every single second counting down. He and his clones immediately charge in for the attack, but the villain just swats them aside with purple energy. He calls it useless, showing he even knows about the system timer. Taunting him, he says he is about to be erased. Right on cue, the countdown hits 0, mission failed. The backlash is immediate, making the poor kid cough up a lung. The villain looms over him, calling him an ant who can't grasp his ambitions. Then comes the big reveal. He understands the system because he has won to, and his is way stronger. That completely floors the kid, who asks if he's a transmigrator as well. The villain scoffs, this kid's system is for talking to parrots. His system, it is built purely for killing gods. The kid asks if the system is what turned his people into monsters. Then he demands to know the villain's ultimate goal. It is simple, the villain says his mission is to wipe out humanity. If he fails, his own clan gets deleted. He's chasing godhood for his people, and he plans to rule over everything. The kid has heard enough. He lands a punch, calling him a delusional, absolute psycho. In the flashback, this kid hits him with a dragon's grip. The villain is stunned, wondering how he is even moving. Then a single drop of water falls to the floor. A tiny splash, and it seems to break the spell. Because it was all an illusion to get close, the kid explains. He's locked him in a time dilation field, 1,000 years of isolation in a single blink. 1,000 years of nothing, now he can finally finish the job. His aura flares, though he's still questioning why his system handed him that dragon claw move. Then, a mysterious white-haired pretty boy appears out of thin air. The guy claims he knows, promising to explain once the fight wraps up. He even offers to help Cao Yuan's little brother before vanishing into smoke. Back in the real world, the villain mocks Cao Yuan, doubting he has that kind of power. He sarcastically claims he'll just wait for Cao Yuan to die of old age. What a drama queen, our boy just smirks back at him. Admitting the guy is pretty sharp, the villain gloats about sending Yinming to snatch the phoenix. And the Yuan, which is Cao Yuan himself. Cao Yuan demands to know when she became a lackey. Then some cat-eared dude shows up. He claims he's the one who gave her power, his hair flaring like he's about to lose it. But Cao Yuan isn't buying any of it, insisting Yinming would never fall to them. Elsewhere, some old master proposes a wager, pitting his magic against his student's partner. From a distance, it really looks like their plan is actually working. In another scene, the cat-eared guy tells the phoenix her spell makes her a non-issue. She bows deeply to an old monk. Honestly, what is even happening here? Back with the student, his plan to save his master is clear. Kill someone. The cat-eared guy is just giddy, practically vibrating with anticipation for the fight. He lunges at the student, screaming about revenge for stealing Yinming. The attack lands hard, leaving the new kid completely stunned. He drops to his knees. The force of the blow was just too much. Suddenly, the old master traps him in purple energy, shouting that his control is slipping. He gloats, power spiking for a final blast, but the kid just smirks. Calling the old man way too cocky, he reveals the whole thing was an illusion. He's got the cat-eared guy by the throat now. A quick toss sends him sprawling. Then, a giant white tiger man shows up, confused why the illusion is still active. He and the cat-eared guy decide they just need to kill this kid. The cat-eared guy dismisses him as an annoying pest he thought might be useful. Our new guy rips off a disguise, ready to show them what the weakest race can really do. The old master just smirks, wondering what tricks the boy has left in his sleeve. He taps into a hidden power, calling on an inner spirit for a loan. Out pops Juan, complaining that he was called way too early. It's useless. The spirit clarifies this will only boost one ability, not the whole set. Our boy just smirks back. That's going to be more than enough. Juan sighs, all right then, show me what you've got. Suddenly, massive green vines erupt from the floor. The cat-eared guy is left completely stunned. Basically, he tells me I called him way too early, acting like this is useless. The spirit explains it will only boost one of his abilities, not the whole set. But our boy just smirks, telling him that will be more than enough. Juan says, all right then, show me what you have got. Suddenly, massive green vines erupt right from the floor. The cat-eared guy is left completely stunned. All of a sudden, the landscape shifts. These things are grabbing everyone in sight. It's a total ambush, and even the old master is caught in the trap. Though, to be fair, he seems weirdly calm about it for now. The tiger man realizes what this is, a legendary healing technique of the grass monsters. Meanwhile, the student stands there, absolutely glowing with pure, raw nature energy. It's driving the old master to the brink, watching his own power slip away. He's spiraling, wondering why the illusion won't break as his body starts cracking and dissolving. Total panic sets in, but the kid just explains his healing is keeping things stable. Even so, the old man's body has officially hit its limit. Now the master is screaming to be let out of the illusion, his soul finally hanging by a thread. But our guy isn't budging. He calls it payback for all those past crimes. That old man wails about being a child of destiny right before he shatters into pieces. His final moments are just spent cursing the kid who completely outplayed him. And the student, he just lets out a little chuckle, totally unbothered by the drama. He tells the old geezer to go reflect on his sins in the afterlife. The illusion breaks, and our boy's eyes finally snap open. He's back in reality, clearly feeling the heavy strain of that entire ordeal. Now he needs to deal with the two goons left standing. Speaking of them, the cat boy and Tiger Man are panicking, wondering what move to make next. Tiger Man says it's time to grab the loot and bail. This fight is a total bust. But our boy isn't about to let them walk away, not with his friends held hostage. Too late, though, they're already making a run for it with the captives. The effort leaves him completely drained, with zero strength left to give chase. Then a horrible thought hits him. Where is Yinming? He spots her unconscious on the ground and immediately sprints to her side. She's out cold, but at least she looks like she's in one piece. He scoops her up, feeling massively relieved just to hear her breathing. But he knows this monster gathering isn't over until everyone is accounted for. A new crowd of beast people shows up, basically saying they aren't impressed at all. They declare that only the last one standing can be crowned king. Rules are rules. As he holds her, a voice booms out, demanding he put her down. He's questioned immediately for not joining the fight earlier. Accused of being a coward, this horned guy just smirks, claiming he's a soft target. Our guy is in a tight spot, completely out of mana and wide open, so he tries to bluff his way out. He casually offers a surrender, asking if they'll just let him walk away. The beast people laugh off his surrender, ready to finish the job while he's weak. With a wild cry, the whole mob charges him at once. But a flash of white cloth slices through the air like a blade. A new swordsman deflects the blow, demanding to know who's there. He's looking for the new monster leader, sword drawn and ready. The monster panics, eyes widening as he recognizes a legendary human hero, Cao Yuan. His gaze is ice-cold, demanding an answer or a blade. The cowards sell our guy out immediately, pointing right at him. Seriously, what a bunch of spineless traitors. He's absolutely livid. While the crowd points him out, our boy roasts them. Where did their monster race pride go? Cao Yuan cuts in. As the new leader, he's coming to see the sage master, an offer he can't refuse. With a sword at his throat, suddenly, that white-haired spirit pops up out of nowhere, just as confused as our guy is. He agrees to go but insists on healing his injured wife, Yinming, first. Surprisingly, Cao Yuan knows the perfect spot, a natural hot spring with healing properties, and just like that, they're at a sparkling, magical spring. In the water, Yinming's eyes slowly flutter open, and she wakes up completely disoriented. Wondering where she is, a hand suddenly clutches her shoulder as she tries to get her bearings. Then our guy's head pops out of the water, leading to a classic, awkward scream fest. She slips, falling right on top of him, and Cao Yuan is just a blushing, flustered mess, total system failure. Her brain short circuits, stuck on a stuttering loop, and Yinming starts screaming bloody murder. While he tries to explain it is for healing, great start, honestly. She threatens to gouge his eyes out, so he promises to keep them shut. Reluctantly, she lifts her hair so he can get to work, and he finally begins the healing process, holding her steady in the spring. Once she's calmed down, she demands to know what the hell happened. He just sighs, admitting it is a very, very long story. But then she hits him with the million-dollar question, who took her clothes? Off, Cao Yuan can't even form a sentence. He is so busted. Turns out Cao Yuan's been watching this whole soap opera. Looking completely unimpressed, he gives them a look that just screams, "Get on with it already," then points to a mysterious box, wondering what its purpose is. Finally dressed, they apologize for the delay. Cao Yuan asks the big question, why does the sage master want to see him? Cao Yuan explains it's about a sorcerer and the monster clan leader he killed. Our guy's first thought, is the sorcerer pretty? Priorities, man. Cao Yuan just trolls him, saying she's way cuter than Yinming. But the banter is cut short as he draws his sword, sensing an intruder. And there she is, a feared woman, immediately locking swords. With Cao Yuan, she cheekily asks if he can't be a little gentler. With a lady, Cao Yuan isn't in the mood, demanding to know who she is. Posing dramatically, she confirms she's the sorcerer. He starts off with a real pointed remark about his stiff sword. And that is Cao Yuan's key to jump in, claiming he has got something hard to. Yinming immediately shuts that down, calling him a total pervert. The sorcerer seems intrigued, getting right in his face to ask his thoughts. She leans in, teasing him, saying he is not interested in what she is offering. She is fast, really fast, so he introduces himself properly. Cao Yuan, current leader of the monster race, and he just blasts her. A massive frost breath attack slams into her. It barely phases her though, and she asks if that is really all he has got. With her captured, Cao Yuan tries to play the tough guy. He looms over a terrified Yunming for some reason. But while he is goofing off, Cao Yu gets the drop on the sorcerer. Sword to her throat, and now she is in trouble. She just plays it cool, claiming she was only dropping by. And she will see herself out now, thanks. Just like that, she vanishes in a puff of ice and smoke. Cao Yu is left absolutely fuming that she actually got away. Cao Yuan is just scratching his head. Wait, she is gone. The swordsman explains she stole the box with the corpse and monster medallion. Cut to her floating away on that very box, promising they will meet again. Cao Yuan asks why the monster leader's corpse is such a big deal. Cao Yu is just annoyed, saying he has to chase the thief down now. As he turns to leave, Cao Yuan stops him. Hey, you forgot someone. He points to himself with a sparkly grin, acting like the main event. Meanwhile, the sorcerer is checking out her prize, the giant ice coffin. She is actually pretty impressed with Cao Yuan's bold little stunt. But now she is ready to teach them all a lesson. Some flashy purple magic starts swirling around her. Then we cut to Cao Yuan and Yunming in some snowy mountains. She is questioning if they should really be getting involved in this mess. He gives a whole speech about duty, saying no one can escape the chaos. Yunming is just worried he is walking straight into more danger. And of course, the sorcerer is watching them, enjoying the little soap opera. Suddenly, the air between Cao Yuan and Yunming crackles with tension. Right before the sorcerer appears, blaming him for not being obedient. She smirks, promising he will not be getting off so easy this time. So Cao Yuan immediately attacks with a Wolf Claw. She is just not impressed, though. His attack gets completely shut down by her purple energy shield. A huge blast sends them both flying across the ice. This sorcerer then threatens to kill them both if her real target does not show up. Next thing you know, he is with Yunming asking about her chat with Cao Yu. This sorcerer is just floored. Excuse me, what? Because Cao Yuan is waving a surrender flag. You have to see this moment to believe it. She claims she has already told her everything. She is just done with his petty games. She powers up to finally end this nonsense, her eyes glowing with a deep purple. Magic surges as she prepares to strike, unleashing a massive, crackling energy blast. The destructive force tears across the entire landscape, shaking the very ground beneath them. But then, she spots Cao Yu getting away, realizing she has to stop him immediately. She turns back to our heroes, mocking their pathetic, little attempt to stall her. A smug, arrogant look on her face says this tiny delay is completely meaningless. She sprouts giant wings, bidding them a casual, insulting adieu before taking off. A swirl of purple energy traps them, making sure they stay right where they are. She doesn't even finish them off, just flies away vowing to find them again later. Once they are safe, Cao Yuan explains the monster leader's body holds a dangerous secret. Yunming immediately asks if his hand is okay, remembering his earlier claims of healing. He reveals a gnarly, skeletal claw, admitting the whole process drains his spirit dry. With a brilliant flash, his hand is completely restored to its original state. This gets him all fired up to investigate the corpse's secrets for himself now. Yunming just stands there, a total walking question mark, looking completely lost. Cao Yuan peeks over the edge of the coffin. It is somehow still sitting there. He sees the monster leader inside, wondering how this is even possible right now. He just smirks, calling it another one of his little tricks to stay ahead. Turns out, an hour ago, Cao Yu was checking out that exact same coffin. He confirms it is the real deal, actually impressed that Cao Yuan wasn't lying. Our boys are just chilling, with Cao Yuan telling him they are partners now. Trust the plan, he says, as he lays the whole setup out for him. Cao Yu grabs the heavy coffin and runs while he holds off the sorcerer. Cao Yuan even butters him up, saying he is a surprisingly wise monster leader. What a suck-up! This swordsman agrees, but promises to come back for a duel. With a sly little grin, Cao Yuan just says see ya and waves him off. He sends the guy away just like he is waving off a buddy on vacation. Back in the present, he complains that Cao Yu is nothing but pure trouble. Yin Ming finally gets it. He used an illusion to trick the guy. Cao Yu took a fake coffin, while the real one stayed right here. Now he is finally ready to get to work on the real prize. He calls on his system to do its thing, scanning the dead leader's remains. The system detects the leader also had a dark system, triggering a hidden mission. He asks if he can absorb the old leader's powers, but the system hits him. A hard no, but he does get to choose a reward from the mission. Energy Blossom, it looks incredibly painful. By the way, pulsing with raw force. He just grits his teeth, ready to take whatever prize is coming his way. Suddenly, he is in a void surrounded by epic, floating weapons in the air. A classic gacha pull. He is totally geeking out over a glowing, cool sword. Like a kid in a candy store, but he ends up picking a bow. He decides it is better to be sneaky than flashy. Then Yin Ming yanks his ear. It's a classic gacha pull. He's geeking out over a cool sword like a kid in a candy store. He decides a bow is better for being sneaky than flashy. Just then, Yin Ming yanks his ear, bringing him back to reality. Yin Ming tells him to wake up, that whole thing was just a dream. He snaps him out of it, demanding to know what actually went down. Our guy is still reeling, processing that weird energy surge from the system. Then suddenly, he's all fired up. It is time to go save Joe. Yin Ming is just lost, completely confused, so she starts shaking him. She is screaming that he is crazy for wanting to go back, but he just grins. He assures her he has a new plan to take the sorcerer down. Meanwhile, Zhou Yu is meditating on the fake coffin, completely oblivious. But he senses the sorcerer is closing in fast, and he is not fully recovered yet. The swordsman stands, deciding it is time to deal with that crazy woman head-on. Just then, the sorcerer appears, offering to forgive him if he just spills. The beans, his response, basically you first. Charming as always. Calling him arrogant, she powers up her swirling purple magic. Ready to teach him a lesson in humility, a skeletal hand erupts. Right from the ground, followed by an entire army of the dead. They surround him on her command. She watches with a smug little look, enjoying the show. But Zhou Yu is not scared. He pulls out one of his 3 holy swords. A symbol of pure fearlessness. 2 of the skeletons immediately lunge at him. And he is shouting, ready to take on 1,000 enemies if that is what it takes. With a massive slash, he unleashes a wild whirlwind of energy, tearing through the undead. The sorcerer's reaction to all this epicness, a solid. Met, she just scoffs, completely unimpressed by his big hero. Moment, losing her cool, she screams for her minions to just kill him already. Her eyes glow as she pours dark purple magic into the assault, and the entire skeleton army charges forward in a massive wave. But then, a surprise blast of frost breath rips through the battlefield, instantly flash freezing a huge chunk of her undead. Zhou Yu is completely stunned, wondering who the heck just showed up. And here comes Cao Yuan with a dramatic, soaring flying kick. Apologizing for being late, fashionably late, of course, Zhou Yu asks what he is doing here, and our boy claims he could not abandon his brother. That smug grin says he is loving every single second of this. Zhou Yu's response: a cold, I never saw you as one of us. Ouch. But they go back to back anyway, agreeing to fight the horde first. With his sword glowing, Zhou Yu gets ready to cut down skeletons while Cao Yuan is panting, claiming this is the last of them and a battered. Zhou Yu grimly agrees, clutching his blade as the dust settles. They are left standing in a boneyard of their own making. Meanwhile, the sorcerer is wondering where the heck the coffin went. She is getting real tired of these guys hiding her stuff, So she whips out a dark magic tracker to find it, which immediately points her to a giant, very obvious tree. Yinming spots the sorcerer. Zipping towards the giant tree, she immediately panics, realizing the coffin has been found. But then some new guy in purple robes appears, sending a flying sword to intercept Cao Yuan's plan is way. Forget being subtle. He just blows the whole thing to pieces. He unleashes a massive fire spell straight at the tree, screaming for it to burn everything. Both the sorcerer and the guy are completely stunned. This entire area is being swallowed by a massive, swirling inferno. The sorcerer is screaming, watching her precious prize get incinerated. She just floats there as the magical fire consumes the tree. She turns in shock to see the purple-robed man just watching the show. In fact, he's actually helping by chanting, making sure every last splinter burns. She is totally losing it, begging him to stop the destruction. The guy clutches his head, looks like he is having some serious second thoughts. With a furious glare, the sorcerer looks ready to tear him apart. But then Cao Yuan makes a dramatic entrance, landing right in front of her. She wastes zero time, grabbing him by the throat in a flash. Her eyes glow with pure rage as she asks if he understands her now, even while being choked. Our boy just smirks, telling her to sift through the ashes for what is left. That gives her pause. The secret she needs might have survived the fire. She hurls him to the ground to go check the wreckage. This sorcerer leaves her purple-robed helper eating dirt, promising to deal with his betrayal. Later, he gets up, absolutely furious with Cao Yuan for destroying the body. Our boy, now grabbed by this guy, just says they should probably run. Meanwhile, the sorcerer surveys the absolute wasteland her prize has become. She stares at the smoldering stumps, hoping to find anything. Then the realization hits. It is all gone, completely vaporized. Her reaction is to just start laughing maniacally. That is never a good sign. She gets dead serious, admitting the mission is a total failure. Back with the escape party, the purple-robed man is carrying Yinming to safety. Cao Yuan tells them to just focus on running. For now, explanations can wait. But then a purple magic sigil appears right beside his head, and a beam of dark energy blasts straight through his chest. He is coughing up blood, completely blindsided by the attack. This sorcerer reappears, claiming she did not actually want to kill him. With a chilling glare, she insists they forced her hand. Sure, lady, her former ally, is finally done with her, calling her insane and drawing his sword. He leaps forward, unleashing a massive, glowing attack. But she just scoffs, telling him he clearly misunderstands the power gap here. She stops his epic sword strike with her bare hand. The swordsman's brain just completely short circuits. She is just staring, wondering how he vanished after she clearly impaled him. But then Cao Yuan just pops back up, totally fine and taunting her. This sorcerer is losing her mind. Even our boy looks totally stunned. That kind of healing speed is just impossible. He touches his own chest right where that fatal wound used to be. She's done playing games now, time to get serious. She starts summoning some dark magic, shooting him a look that could kill. Then she promises to show him what a real attack actually feels like. Purple energy whips lash out, desperate to tear him to pieces. He just plants his feet cool as ice, ready for whatever comes next. He dodges the tendrils, and they slam into the ground with insane force. He's gritting his teeth because he knows one direct hit would be lights out. Instead of running, he uses those magic whips as a launch pad. He rockets straight toward her, but she's ready with a counter. She seems completely unimpressed by his little stunt, but he gets in close, grabs her, and just like that, her magic fizzles out. She is in total shock, wondering where all her power just vanished to. Our boy just floats there, somehow absorbing her entire attack. And then he just face plants right into her chest. I mean, that is a choice. He looks like he's having the time of his life. But things get way weirder when cat ears suddenly pop out of her head. She's completely mortified, face turning bright red, just grinding her teeth. Finally snapping, she screams for him to go to hell and yeets him into the sky. Cao Yuan comes crashing back to Earth after his accidental trip to the stratosphere. The sorcerer is absolutely fuming, accusing him of taking cheap advantage of her. But then she realizes her magic is suddenly back, which leaves her totally confused. She senses a weird, familiar energy lingering in the air. And here's the thing, she's just in time to spot that purple-robed guy. He and Yinming are making a run for it, trying to escape. With a furious flush still on her face, she vows to make him pay. Meanwhile, our boy is just celebrating the fact that he is still alive. He's a little lost though, wondering why the crazy cut lady just took off. So he starts meditating, sensing some strange new power surging inside. A legendary golden bow materializes, finally, a special weapon for his weak body. Turns out it has an insane healing effect, but it's got a catch. You have to get in close to really use it. Then this purple road guy tracks him down, claiming he found the power source. Just then, a mysterious, hooded figure appears out of nowhere. Cao Yuan calls the other guy Sage Master. The newcomer introduces themselves as the leader of the monster race. Cao Yuan just laughs, finding the whole title a bit much. The Sage Master facepalms, but then Cao Yuan gets serious. He recognizes something about that voice that hits close to home. He gets all up in their face, calling out the hypocrisy of hiding an identity. The monster leader is clearly not impressed by his complete lack of respect. The Sage Master just grabs him, telling him to shut up already. Then the hood starts to slip, and the tension in the air hits a breaking point. She grabs his hood. The cloak drops, revealing a woman who insists they need his help fighting off the demons. This monster leader cuts right to the chase, telling them to just start talking. But her expression hints there is a pretty big catch to this request. The Sage Master summons a chair for her, practically begging her to keep his identity secret. Cao Yuan immediately cuts in. He demands to know where the demons came from, and she explains they are just mindless beasts that attack humans, not a proper, organized race at all. Then she glances at the Sage Master, heavily implying he has some connection to them. Our boy tries to sweet-talk the intel out of her, a truly terrible tactic. Her strange smile tells us everything. She is definitely not amused by his games. In fact, her inner monologue is basically a quick tutorial on how to torture someone. She plays it off, claiming she just had to persuade her sources, Cao Yuan. Ever the opportunist, he just asks what she needs him to do, so she proposes a bet. He can lead a monster race suicide squad against the oncoming demon horde. He gets a little stuck on that suicide squad part for some reason. She lays it out again, she will fight the demons, and he leads the cannon fodder. His eyes light up. He is totally into this absolutely horrible plan. With the deal struck, she already has the war banner ready to go. Cao Yuan grips his legendary bow. Ready for his big moment, he's already imagining this historic alliance being written down in the history books, but she cuts him off, asking why her people have to be the ones to die first. She argues it is way easier to just pick a new kid to lead, since they are all going to be dead soon anyway. Wow, what a great pep talk. Cao Yuan explains that in a long war, their side is guaranteed to lose. She agrees, adding that for victory, the weaker races just have to make sacrifices, so our boy heroically volunteers the human race to take the hit, a grand gesture that she is clearly not buying for even a single second. Suddenly, she is furious, realizing his entire logic was just a trap to get her people killed. This Sage Master pops in, and she seems to know him pretty well. They share a quick silent look that spells nothing but trouble for our boy, and Cao Yuan immediately realizes he has just been completely outplayed. The order is given to tie him up, and he is just screaming in protest. Next thing you know, he is roped to a tree, yelling that this was not the deal. He demands to know if this is how they treat their allies, but the sage master just tells him to shut it, pulling the rope tight. This monster leader just hums, finding his predicament pretty amusing. She gets right up in his face, lifting his chin with her finger. Then she asks what good killing him would even do, making him sprout in shock. Her plan is to just replace him with a more cooperative leader, and panicking, Cao Yuan blurts out that he still has the precious body they are after. This finally gets her attention. She grabs him, demanding to know where it is. The sage master is freaking out, insisting he saw the whole thing burn, but Cao Yuan reveals the coffin is actually empty. He tucked the prize away. That monster leader snaps, grabbing his head with a lethal grip. She vows to crush his skull if he's lying. Cao Yuan is sweating, feeling that massive pressure. Just then, a system warning lights up. A massive shockwave is incoming. The interrogation stops dead as they both sense the power surging. She looks up and sees a purple beam of energy tearing down. It hammers into the ground, triggering a destructive shockwave everywhere. The Sage Master and Cao Yuan are sent flying by the force. He manages to land, bracing himself against that lingering purple energy. The Sage Master immediately knows that power. It belongs to the sorcerer. Meanwhile, Cao Yuan hits the ground and the blast snaps his ropes. His eyes snap open. He is finally free. That sorcerer from the forest reappears, and the monster leader recognizes her instantly. The sorcerer vows that this time, there will be no escape for her. The monster leader just gives a very unimpressed scoff in return. The sorcerer strikes, sending the monster leader plummeting toward the ground. A massive beam of purple energy crashed down right where she fell. The sorcerer lands, but the monster leader is already gone. She dodged the blast. She is sitting on a rock nearby. The monster leader calls the sorcerer a sage master while being told to surrender. Cao Yuan pops up, asking what the hell is even going on. The monster leader smirks. She heard his slip up. He's been playing them. Suddenly, a new white-haired girl appears, calling the sorcerer out for returning. The monster leader just smirks, saying her opponent is not her anymore. A massive, beastly shadow suddenly looms over the newcomer. A new challenger appears, a giant wearing prayer beads, offering his help. That white-haired girl is stunned, having no idea where he came from. Meanwhile, the sorcerer gets blasted away, screaming for the sage master. The giant powers up, warning everyone else to stay out of his way. Even the sage master is shocked, wondering what this strange power is. Not one to be intimidated, the girl leaps in, telling him not to underestimate her. He introduces himself with a prayer, here to mercifully kill her. What a guy! He unleashes an energy wave that shatters her attack. She gets sent flying back, completely overpowered by the blast. After a rough landing, she admits he is way tougher than he looks. He looms over her, demanding she surrender and accept his mercy. She fires back, asking if killing a weak woman is his idea of compassion. His logic, he is just freeing her from the suffering of existence. A truly noble goal, she scoffs, totally done with his philosophical nonsense. So she just launches a flying kick right at his head. She's way tougher than she looks, and she looms over him, demanding answers. She fakes a surrender, begging for his mercy, but fires back instead, asking if killing a weak woman is his idea of compassion. He claims he is freeing her from the suffering of existence. A truly noble goal, he says. She scoffs, totally done with his philosophical nonsense. Without another word, she just launches a sudden, lightning-fast flying kick. It slams right into his face with a blinding flash of light and raw energy. But he doesn't even flinch, grabbing her ankle mid-kick to stop her cold. He keeps rambling about his twisted version of mercy. Then he just tosses her clean across the entire forest. But she has got absolutely no time for his philosophical garbage, whipping out a golden fan. It starts glowing with power as she declares that monsters like him get no forgiveness. She begins chanting a seriously powerful mantra, unleashing a forbidden technique. The five thunder punishment of heaven summons a massive bolt of divine lightning. Cao Yuan is stunned, but the sage master just smirks. Thinking she has this in the bag, the monster leader suddenly pops up between them. She warns them they are underestimating her opponent, giving a sly look. She is clearly wondering how to finally settle this old score. Meanwhile, the big guy emerges from the smoke completely unscathed. Now he is sporting forearms and spouting more nonsense about loving your enemies. This white-haired girl is in total shock, realizing her ultimate attack did nothing. His hand starts glowing with a red energy he calls the Wrath of Compassion. It forms into the shackles of compassion. Seriously, this guy needs a thesaurus. He claps his hands together, unleashing the liberation of mercy. Red energy tendrils immediately wrap around the girl, trapping her midair. She is caught off guard, gritting her teeth in total frustration. She feels her own power being suppressed by his attack. This sage master is all fired up, vowing to save his companion. But a hand on his wrist stops him cold. It is the monster leader. She calmly tells him to hold on a minute, warning him not to move so fast. Her explanation is simple. That mercy attack is a one-way ticket to the afterlife. She then asks if he is really planning to just run in and die with her. He refuses to abandon his people, promising to settle the score with her later. With that, he bolts, leaving her behind to join the fight. She just smirks, thinking it is such a shame he is in a hurry to die. Meanwhile, the sage master charges in, screaming at the big guy to back off. Our four-armed philosopher just calls them a pitiful race, a real morale booster. His sword flares with power as he goes in for the kill, but his blade just clangs uselessly against a massive golden energy shield. He is in total disbelief. His best shot did not even leave a scratch. Out of nowhere, Cao Yuan zips in, offering some much-needed backup. Our boy unleashes his Vol's Claw, a ball of crackling blue energy. Their combined assault actually shatters the unbreakable shield. It worked. With the shield gone, the shackles of compassion finally break. The girl is finally free. Cao Yuan looks on, all business, now that they have an opening. The sage master actually concedes, saying he will listen to the kid for once. From the sidelines, the monster leader just watches, finding their little resistance cute. Cao Yuan watches closely. It is all business now that they finally have an opening. This sage master actually concedes, saying he will listen to the kid for once. From the sidelines, the monster leader just watches, finding their little scuffle amusing. The sage master is struggling and looking pretty adorable doing it. He tries to block her advance, but his sword is already cracking under the pressure. Then, the monster leader casually kicks him straight to the ground. So much for that plan. Furious, he realizes something is seriously wrong with his opponent. She just smirks, revealing she's locked onto him and won't stop until he's dead. Seeing his chance, Cao Yuan grabs the injured girl and makes a run for it. But the four-armed guy is right on his tail, and our boy knows he's in real trouble. This dude is moving at insane speeds, closing the gap in a flash. Cao Yuan is screaming, pushing himself to the absolute limit. But he gets sent flying through the air by one powerful blow. The white-haired girl steps in, trapping the big guy in a swirling blue vortex. A single stomp of her foot seems to be controlling the entire technique. It sends our philosopher flying while he keeps yelling about liberation. This guy is stuck on one note. With the sage master occupied, Cao Yuan sees an opening. He starts gathering energy, forming a massive ice sword and promising to end this quickly. Even the sage master is stunned, realizing the kid just found a flaw in the curse. But the monster leader just scoffs, saying he's clever, but still not enough. Cao Yuan explains his logic. He only has to deal with one of them now. The big guy is looking down, clearly in a world of hurt inside that vortex. He's screaming in agony as the energy rips into him. Suddenly, two massive holes blow straight through his chest. What just happened? Cao Yuan grits his teeth, realizing this guy can just grow more limbs. Our philosopher king claps his hands for another round of his liberation of mercy. Red energy starts to bind Cao Yuan, the same attack used on the girl. Panicking, he screams at his system to find him a hidden bow, like, right now. Suddenly, the four-armed guy is dodging a surprise volley of green energy arrows, because Cao Yuan just pulled a legendary bow out of thin air. Ready to go, he forms an energy arrow, taunting him about whether his extra hands can even catch it. A whole barrage of arrows shoots up, homing in on their target. It leaves our big bad looking extremely annoyed by this turn of events. These arrows all converge in a massive explosion right in his face, but he just sprouts to more arms, blocking the blast. He vows to liberate Cao Yuan next. What a limited vocabulary. Cao Yuan just smirks, telling him he won't get the chance. He tells him to look behind, and there's the white-haired girl, Bao Zhuang. She reminds him what they do to monsters. This six-armed dude is officially having a very, very bad day. She unleashes the 5 thunder punishment again, a massive blast of holy power. Even the monster leader is impressed, admitting the girl is more than just a spectator. Her attack slams down, obliterating the entire area in a flash of light. In the aftermath, everything has changed. Then a massive blast of holy power. Even the monster leader is impressed. Admitting the girl is more than just a spectator. Her attack slams down hard, obliterating the entire area in a blinding flash of light. In the aftermath, she glares. That massive guy is down, wrecked in a crater, reaching up, begging for the mercy he loved dishing out. She stands right over him, totally unimpressed by the pathetic display. Cao Yuan asks if it is finally over, but she is still absolutely furious. The guy used the chaos to sneak in a hug, but he is just playing dumb, a classic move. She is still amazed that a demon could even survive her forbidden's curse, especially since she is hurt. But the monster leader explains her race is blessed by heaven, which is just a title, not a god. This sage master tries to chase her off, telling her to get lost before she is next on the list. Suddenly, the sky goes dark, a swirling purple vortex opening right above them. A massive, terrifying eye stares down from the center of it all. A glowing cosmic eyeball, and it promises absolutely nothing good is about to happen. It is the monster leader's doing, a memory-wiping technique she is unleashing on everyone. Cao Yuan and the girl are caught in the spell's energy, looking completely dazed. Our boy feels a strange void, like he has forgotten something super important. Even the Sage Master is totally lost, wondering what just happened and why he is even there. But Cao Yuan's system immediately detects the memory hack and starts repairs. Nice try, lady, not today. Just then, the white-haired girl collapses right into his arms, completely spent. Turns out, that Forbidden's technique drained her spiritual power and wrecked her mentally. As he tries to heal her, the Sage Master comes flying back in a total panic. He is screaming at the monster leader, demanding to know what she did to them. Cao Yuan snaps back, telling him to back off while she is clearly injured. This Sage Master just flies off, still yelling confusedly into the void. Our boy shoves him away, telling him to shut it and questioning if he even cares about her safety. The girl just looks up at him, maybe a little surprised by his protectiveness. She is suddenly blushing, realizing exactly where she landed. And her immediate response is a solid headbutt. So much for gratitude. This is followed by an elbow to the face, calling him a pervert. Now she is on top of him, ready to throw down while he is just lost. Cao Yuan yells out, asking if she seriously does not recognize him. But she just glares back, saying they have never even met before. This Sage Master chimes in, explaining Cao Yuan is a monster race anomaly. Our boy finally puts it together. The big eye wiped their memories, but not his. Then the Sage Master orders her to kill Cao Yuan, revealing she is a woman who cannot have her secret exposed. Our boy is just stunned, unable to believe the sudden betrayal. With zero hesitation, the Sage Master lunges in for the kill. Cao Yuan watches in terror as the blade comes right for him. His system kicks in just in time. She shouts back they have never even met before this. The Sage Master chimes in, explaining Cao Yuan is actually a monster race anomaly. Our boy finally puts it together. The big eye wiped their memories, but not his. Then the sage master orders her to kill Cao Yuan, revealing the truth. She is a woman who cannot have her secret exposed. Our boy is just stunned, unable to believe the sudden betrayal. With zero hesitation, the sage master lunges. She goes for the kill, leaving Cao Yuan to watch in pure terror. As the blade comes right for him, his system finally kicks in just in time. Damage restored. He sits up, body finally responding again. Shaken, convinced that was the end, he sees the sage master standing right there, confirming he absolutely meant to kill him. All while the white-haired girl just watches coldly from the sidelines. She raises a hand, ready to unleash another forbidden mantra to end it. But Cao Yuan immediately stops her, warning her. She will die if she uses that move again. She looks down. Her spiritual power is completely drained. She has no idea why. She just slaps his hand away, still totally hostile and confused. A quick flashback, the white-haired girl orders someone to take Zhou. You go to the capital. She looks dead serious, pointing. Way out in a forest clearing. Then we cut to a flickering torch on a stone wall, never a good sign. Our boy has been thrown into a seriously grim-looking prison. Cao Yuan wakes up on a cold stone slab, trying to figure out where he is. He sits up, mulling over the whole humans versus monsters mess he is in, realizing he's kind. Gets all the blame while the demon race is just ignored, but he's not staying put, already planning his grand escape, vowing that this rundown jail is not going to hold him for long. He follows it by punching a wall. That absolutely does not care. He calls on his system for an analysis, but it is busy with another task. Peak timing. Our guy is completely losing it, having no idea how long he has even been trapped here. A calm voice suddenly informs him it has been half a year. It is the sage master. Strolling up to his cell like it is a social call, Cao Yuan grabs the bars, totally floored. He has lost 6 months of his life. The sage master explains this prison is a special place where time feels different. How nice, absolutely livid. Cao Yuan demands to know what he did to deserve this. His captor just says it was his own decision. Since he is the leader of the monster race, Cao Yuan yells back, reminding him they were fighting the monsters together. Then the sage master drops another bomb. The new monster leader wants him back too. Cao Yuan is completely stunned. The monster race has a new leader, the sage master, then tells a mysterious prisoner that it is her time to go back in his cell. Our boy has a sinking feeling. He knows exactly who it is. Elsewhere, someone makes a dramatic entrance at a massive city gate, met by a robed man who clearly was not expecting company. It is a silver-haired woman with cat ears, introducing herself as the new monster leader, and she is here to take back what is hers, which is almost definitely Cao Yuan. This robed leader just scoffs, totally unimpressed by the monster races. New management, she gets all flustered, claiming Cao Yuan is just her servant. Yeah, that is the ticket. But the robed guy calls her bluff, asking why she showed up alone this time. She is suddenly caught in some kind of binding spell, looking extremely irritated. She's fuming her backup got cold feet and ditched her. So much for loyalty. Her opponent just smirks, calling her a total failure as a leader. Just then, a colossal ice dragon tears through the air. It circles the entire group, letting out a deafening roar. It screams down at them, "Don't you dare underestimate the monster race." Even the new monster leader is stunned, wondering where this thing spawned from. A robed man calmly analyzes the energy, identifying it as powerful ice magic. The dragon doesn't care, it just roars, demanding he hand over the prisoner. No more talk. It unleashes a massive blast of freezing breath straight at them. In an instant, the robed men are flash frozen. They're statues where they stand, but then the ice blast meets resistance. A new challenger appears, a white-haired woman radiating serious power. Her eyes narrow. She wants to know why a legendary northern dragon is meddling. The dragon doesn't answer, just charges up another massive energy ball. She counters, whipping up a raging vortex to shield herself. She takes the dragon's attack head-on, barely holding her ground. She demands to know why this visitor from the north is picking a fight. Then she glances at the monster leader, mocking if a lowly dog commands dragons. Savage, our cat-tiered leader is losing it. She hates being called a dog. The dragon just says it has no choice. It surfs the monster race. Suddenly, massive beams of light crash down from the sky. Everything stops, for symbolic beasts appear, surrounding the ice mage. Okay, what is even happening? Even the monster leader is stunned. She recognizes them, the white tiger, the black tortoise, and the phoenix. All four legendary creatures are roaring, ready to throw down. The ice mage just looks up, completely lost as to why this is happening. The beasts start glowing, their power converging into a golden aura. She's lifted into the air, bound by energy from four simmering portals. Her hands crackle with raw power. She looks ready for whatever comes next. From the sidelines, a new blonde guy taunts her about the four symbols seal. He calls her by name Cao Yuan. She's completely floored. She demands to know who he is and how he knows her identity. He crosses his arms, smug, tells her he doesn't owe her any answers. What a jerk! The cat-haired leader recognizes his style, questioning if he's Lang Yan. He just smirks, asking if she recognizes the body he's currently borrowing. With a creepy close-up, he admits this vessel is a pretty good match. Our monster leader is thrown. She has no idea what's going on. Suddenly, she's getting flash frozen just from his stare. Talk about a cold shoulder. The ice mage Cao Yuan steps in. She identifies his technique as belonging to a specific, deadly origin. He admits this vessel is a pretty good match for him. Our monster leader is totally thrown, not understanding what is happening at all. Suddenly, she is getting flash frozen just from his stare. Talk about a cold shoulder. This ice mage Cao Yuan steps in. She identifies his technique as belonging to a specific lineage. Lang Yan takes a menacing step toward her, closing the distance. Instantly, he's right in her face, clearly impressed. She's even heard of his people. Then he grabs her chin. He demands to know where his son's body is. Yikes, that escalated fast. He taunts her for staying silent, then gives a sinister wink. He says he'll just dig the answer out himself. A flash in her eyes reveals he's using some kind of mind probe. It forces a rapid-fire replay of all her recent memories. She clutches her head, screaming from the psychic pressure. After she collapses, he decides she genuinely doesn't know anything. Wait for it. Here is where the tension hits a breaking point. His hand glows as he demands the location of the grass demon. Cao Yuan just insists she is clueless about his son's killer. Still reeling on the ground, he looms over her, smugly declaring his plan is perfect. He claims she has no way out, but she fires back that Cao Yuan will be back soon. We get a vision of Cao Yuan being hugged by the previous monster leader. Oh, drama! This vision of the former leader continues. She sadly notes that every meeting is a first for him. But back in reality, Cao Yuan refuses to believe it. She insists Cao Yuan can escape anyone. Lang Yan just smirks, telling her to stop struggling. He claims his plan is flawless. He reaches out, declaring that absolutely no one can save her now. He gets real creepy, saying he's about to get intimate with her brain. Suddenly, the new monster leader leaps into action. A surprise attack lands a solid kick that sends the creep flying. Nice one, Cao Yuan asks why she helped, but gets a cold response. I did not save you, our catty leader clarifies. She just doesn't want Cao Yuan falling into his hands. This clicks for Lang Yan. He finally realizes she's the one who killed his son. He instantly blitzes her, calling the entire monster race a bunch of ants. He grabs her by the throat, completely overpowering her in a flash. Just then, a blade of pure golden lightning materializes out of thin air. It slices right through his arm before he can even react. And there he is, Cao Yuan, casually asking if someone mentioned his name. Lang Yan just stares at his wound, totally bewildered by this entrance. Even Zhang Yue is stunned, wondering how in the world he got out. Our boy just winks, announcing he had to come save his wife from bullies. He asks for her confirmation, while she tells him to stop being gross. So romantic. Lang Yan is absolutely raging. He vows revenge on the insolent demon who dared to hurt him. We jump into a flashback of a green-eyed kid taunting his opponent. He talks about being more than just a ranged fighter. He immediately proves it by blasting a blonde guy right off his feet, unleashing a massive ball of blue energy at point-blank range. That blonde guy is Lang Yan. Sun is stunned. His technique completely failed against a simple grass demon. The kid just calls him pathetic, all while still charging up an attack. Then he punches a hole straight through Sun's chest. So much for a fair fight. From above, we watch the devastating impact as Sun goes down hard. His face is a perfect mask of pure disbelief. How could this happen to him? Clutching that fatal wound, he's totally outmatched and completely broken. So he does the only logical thing, turns tail and runs for his life. Our little grass demon is left standing there, just watching him. Baffled by that sudden retreat. What a total weirdo. Back in the present, Cao Yuan's attention is locked on Zhang Yue. This new monster leader suddenly realizes his true target is the sage. Meanwhile, Lang Yang gets a creepy look, deciding he needs a stronger body to win this. Zhang Yue desperately tries to get Cao Yuan's attention, yelling for him to listen, but she's cut off mid-sentence before she can get the warning out, because Lang Yan has already grabbed her, trapping her in a tight energy bind. He then summons a massive attack. The four symbols purgatory dragon. Sounds friendly, right? After the blast, Cao Yuan and the monster leader find themselves in a barren wasteland. She points out the sage was taken, asking, "Oh boy, what the plan is now?" This new monster leader presses Cao Yuan, asking if he has anything to say to her. But our boy is completely baffled, asking what she is even talking about. She just huffs, announcing she knows where their enemies went and tells him to follow, then yanks him into a headlock, demanding some gratitude for the rescue. This causes Cao Yuan to absolutely freak out, begging her to let go. After things calm down, he explains their memories were wiped by some mysterious third party, which makes sense to her, since she feels like she has forgotten so much. But then she gets a sly look, deciding she just trusts him for now. That sudden switch leaves Cao Yuan a blushing, flustered mess. Meanwhile, Zhang Yue wakes up to find herself chained in a dark cavern. Her captor is Lang Yan, now sporting some blonde hair and cat ears, looking as smug as ever. She immediately demands to know his plan, and he just grins, telling her he is about to take over her body. So that's the plan. She is obviously horrified at the prospect of a hostile takeover. He starts gathering energy, coolly admitting the risk is high, but totally worth it as he grabs her head. She glares back, vowing he will never succeed. He just looms over her, taunting that her defiance is all she has left. But she cuts him off, roasting him for being a typical villain who talks way too much. Suddenly, a new beast man crashes through the wall to rescue his leader, sending Lang Yan flying as Cao Yuan watches the dust settle. From a distance, this beast man rescuer stands his ground. Lang Yan stands his ground, looking absolutely furious. He is completely baffled, demanding to know how Cao Yuan found this place. Then Cao Yuan just pops up, casually explaining it was super easy. Zhang Yue desperately yells for Cao Yuan to listen to her. Trying to get a warning out, she watches as he just tosses a glowing shard. It zips right past her head, and catching it again, he seems completely unfazed by her panic. Unbothered, he doesn't even spare her a glance. He turns to her, saying it is time to settle their score. Lang Yan interrupts, pissed off and clutching for elemental orbs. He launches them all, challenging Cao Yuan to face the full power of the four symbols. Our guy is forced to his knees, struggling to hold off the massive attack. Watch closely, here is where the tide starts to turn. Suddenly, he is not alone, as a whole team of allies appears behind him. It is the four symbols in humanoid form, including the white tiger who just broke in. Lang Yin just smirks, telling them to show him what they have got. Cao Yuan powers up, saying he already knows their abilities and can counter them. This white tiger does not waste a second, lunging forward with a charged-up claw. He slams his hand right into Lang Yan's face, stopping him cold. The villain is totally stunned, coughing up blood from the brutal hit. Even Cao Yuan and Zhang Wei are shocked by the sheer speed of the takedown. At the same time, the other two symbols unleash a combined water and ice attack. Lang Yan is instantly trapped in a massive block of ice. Well, that was efficient. This red-haired symbol taunts the frozen villain. She reveals this was their trap all along. And with a sly grin, she tells the others it is their turn to finish him off. With a sly grin, she tells the others the truth. Now it is their turn to finish him off.